So here we go. Thanks for coming back, man.
Thank you very much for having me.
Officially 1 year celebration. You are our first guest, and you're our first guest of our second year. It's great to have you back.
It feels like fucking 10 years, man.
It was a while
like, honestly,
ago.
the amount of shit which has happened in between then.
I know. I can't.
Yeah. Where does time go?
Yeah, because so what was it? Early 2017. Yeah, a lot has happened since then.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I was
like-
thinking on the drive here, like, I'm really gonna relish this
Yeah.
because I never get asked to do these things, like, ever. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So being here, like, thank you for
Exactly.
having us again.
I love
It's
doing
fucking
stuff like
great.
this. I love it because you never really get a chance to talk to people properly, do you?
That's the
Go
thing.
deep in
Yeah.
anything. Like even like I don't know about you, but like say your group of best friends, you never really get to like go to the pub that often and just shoot the shit, and just there's always like something going on, or you're sort of there for like a football match or a gig.
Yeah.
So there's always something, a byproduct. Your conversations are a byproduct of something else.
This is the thing when you're at a gig as well, right? It's just a fucking din all the time in your ear. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to say something to someone, but you're just like shouting over the music. You're not even fucking speaking. You know what I mean? It's just like you may as well be fucking mute.
So the last time you were on,
Yeah.
you had your reissue of that single coming out.
Just for tonight.
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah.
that came. When did that actually come out in the end? Because you weren't sure at the time.
Oh, holy crap!
So that was in the summer of 2016. So
I think it was about the autumn time.
Yeah,
Came out. I think it was the September. We shot a video for it. Like we did a live show in Think Tank, and a lot of the footage from that became the video.
Yeah.
And it was just really released as like a freebie. You know what I mean? We weren't particularly happy with how the original came out.
Yeah.
You know, the tempo was off, and there was a few things here and there. But I think that time we managed to capture it right. You know what I mean?
So that was the reason why it was specifically that song that you wanted to.
Yeah, that was
redo.
it. You know what I mean? Like the other ones were all fine, but when it just came to that one, it didn't quite click. You know what I mean?
Right,
You heard it
yeah.
as a bit kind of robotic and a bit kind of crap. You know, to put it bluntly.
It happens.
You
But
know?
that was a result of like time.
Yeah.
When you recorded it, you just had to do what you could do in the time.
We were rushed as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we did
It's usually
that
the
one.
way.
Exactly. Had like fucking, I think I had 5 hours to do like 5 vocal tracks or something. So I was like, go, 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 go. It was very much like Black Flag or something, you know?
That's a push on your voice, though, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
But you did it, though.
Felt a shit.
So then, because even then you were talking about the last, was it the album that came out?
It was an EP. Like the Kill McCure.
Yeah, you were talking about that even then.
Mm-hmm.
So when did it actually come out?
That one came out in the March of this year.
Or last year?
Yeah, sorry. Like I'm on another fucking planet here.
Still not used to being in
I
2018.
know, it's like, man,
I keep doing
just
that.
fucking-
I've done that at least twice so far this year.
I'm a fucking ditz, man. I'm a fucking blonde at heart, you know. But it was around about March time.
Because I
like,
don't know what was it when we played with you? Was that your official launch?
I think so.
Yeah, that was really
Yeah.
cool. That was a cool gig. That I
That was a
really
good
enjoyed
night. It was
Yeah.
fucking chaos, you know. Like
Trillions was rammed.
it was best play, you know.
Who was the other band that was on?
I think we were playing with the Raging Sickness as well.
that was it. Yeah,
Like some local guys. And
yeah, that was good. It
we've
was a
known
good night.
them. Yeah, it was class, man.
It's good.
It was good.
I've got the CD. I bought it.
You think it's okay?
Yeah, it's good. It's
You
good.
know something interesting?
Let's
I
hear
have
it.
never listened to that.
Since
ever.
you recorded it,
Yeah, I mean, I've
you
never.
must have listened to the mastered versions when you first got
No,
them.
I've never heard a master. I've never heard anything to do with that. Pretty much.
Why?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I thought you'd be taking pride in it. And
I take pride in it, but I'm like, I was there and I'd done it, and I don't need to listen to it. You know what I mean? It's funny because people talk to me about it and like, what do you think? I'm like, I don't really know. You know, like the other ones, yeah, sure, but with that one, I've just never got around to listening to it.
did you not fall in love with it as much as the previous stuff then?
Yeah, like I fell in love with it, but
Because I
I don't know. I felt like I was in really safe hands with it. You know, it was
Yeah,
Mark
fair.
Stafford who was, you know, like producing it and stuff, and I could jump off a building. I could trust him to catch me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm the
So
sa-
I just
I'm
felt like-
almost the same in that we got the mastered back and I listened to it for a few days. This was like 2 months before it came out. Then I just
Yeah.
forgot about it. And
Yeah.
obviously, then a year later you hear it or you listen to it again. But
Exactly, man.
we were quite
Mm-hmm.
particular in the control room about the production of it as well.
Really?
So,
Cool, man.
but I can't believe you didn't.
I know.
Yeah,
like
I'm
nothing.
surprised.
It's like if anybody asks me like anything to do with it, you know, obviously I was present while it was recorded.
I think you should listen to it.
Do you think I should?
I think you should. Like, especially
Mine's
now.
still in cellophane as well.
So you're coming up to
it
a
kind
year.
of just sits there. It's like,
You're
like
coming up to
50
a-
years time, it's still going to be pristine, and
A year since it was released. I think it's time.
it's time for me
Yeah.
to listen to
Then
it.
you can fully take it in.
I think so.
As a whole new thing.
I just trusted what Davey said.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded great. You did a good
You know,
job.
Davey was, you know, he was there when it was getting mixed and mastered.
Yeah.
And I would ask him updates. I'm like, what do you think?
Yeah.
And he was like,
Yeah.
yeah, sounded good.
You had a good
fine."
response to it when it came out as well. So
Yeah, relatively.
cool. How many songs have you like released videos for from it?
I think it was just 2.
Yeah.
I think we just did 2 from it.
Cool.
But yeah, I love that whole video process.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't
It's
it?
exciting to.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work as well.
Even just coming up with a good idea.
Jumping around like a fucking idiot trying to not to break your neck. I'm sure you know this as well,
Yeah.
right? Because like, do you have any neck problems or anything?
Mm-mm.
You don't. Because I unfortunately
really.
do have fucking neck problems.
I went through phases of it, yeah, but you do a lot of.
Yeah.
I suppose I move around less because I play guitar, whereas
Yeah.
if you've just got the microphone, you're free to run around and
Exactly.
get a bit nuts.
That Iggy Pop kind of thing.
Yeah.
I had to tone it down, man, because it was just like, literally when I was like 23 in that band, I went to like Edinburgh, kind of like for a few days for a break kind of thing, and I couldn't walk up fucking hills, man. I was just shooting pain in my neck.
Oh no!
Like, everywhere I went, I'm like, man, like I really got to try and take care of myself. You know what I mean?
You need to master the hair flick.
You think that's what it is?
That's what
The whole hair metal thing, right?
who's it? Dan Bate. He was the bass player of Solver. He's now in Monument.
All right, yeah.
He's mastered this thing where he like it looks like he's headbanging, but really it's just about the flick of the hair. It's the hair that does most of the movement.
It's all about the style.
So he's not moving his shoulders and his neck in one movement rather than just your head.
Yeah.
And it just
I'll have to
you've got
try
the
and
hair
do it.
for it.
Again, yeah, man. It's nice to have some fucking hair
You
again.
could it. You could it.
I did, yeah.
You told me about the shackles of working life where you had to cut your hair for a job. Oh
I
my
did.
god.
It lasted.
You were pissed off about it. I was pissed off about it. I was pissed off for you. That you had
I
to-
know,
that you had to do that.
because it was just this great opportunity, and I'm not particularly academically smart or anything, you know what I mean? I'm no dull knife, but I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer either.
Yeah.
And this opportunity came along my uncle to basically become an accountant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Can you imagine me as an accountant? Like, when would that ever happen? So I was like, okay, I'll do it. One of the things was I had to like chop the hair, you know what I mean? I never would have done this for like anybody else. And I just thought, you know what? This could be good because it would have allowed me to have more free time for the band, more money to do things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I got there, I lasted a week. I clashed with him like fucking big time. He's a fucking dick. Treated me like an asshole.
Wow.
Right? And
fair play.
I quit, man. I was just like, fuck this. It's like, you didn't even want me there,
Yeah.
and
You knew you weren't going to be happy there.
yeah, I just knew, man.
Yeah.
He kept raising the bar and stuff, and he said,
Taking the piss.
yeah, right. You just know you got to stick to your guns.
Mm.
So I just went back to bus driving, so to speak.
It's got to be done. Got to pay the bills.
Right, man.
Because then, not long after, back end of last year, you moved to Newcastle, didn't you?
I did.
With your new girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'll say the thing that's
Engaged
changed since you were
now.
last on here.
Yeah. Exactly, right.
You had a
I'm
different
like
girlfriend at the
a
time.
whole different person.
Now you've got a new girlfriend and you're
I'm
engaged.
engaged.
Wow, that's a whirlwind. What a life you lead.
I know. It's really fucking funny, right? When I was about 11 years old, I said something like, God, I hope my life is like a fucking movie. And it has been, the amount of ridiculous things which have happened, good and bad. You know what I mean? I've had some terrible moments, but I've had some good ones as well. And it's just been a constant roller coaster, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was by far the most nerve-wracking experience of my life.
Which?
Proposing,
Ah, right.
you know?
I bet. Yeah.
Like the whole, like, you think, like, maybe some of the shows and whatever, like Hard Rock Hell, like,
Yeah.
that was nerve-wracking, but
Yeah. That's a whole different level, though, isn't it? Doing
yeah, I thought my heart was going to come out my chest, you know?
How long have you known her?
A few years,
Yeah. Well, that's
you know, just as, like, friends and stuff, like, we knew each other through the shows, and, you know, I became single, and the plan was just to kind of do my own thing for a while, and then I was kind of like...
Because usually it's easier if you're single to just...
Yeah, I was
You
just...
haven't got to think about somebody
I
else.
just wanted to take it easy.
Yeah.
I was going to just kind of go to the gym and become Bill Goldberg. Like, seriously, that was the plan, you know what I mean?
I don't blame you.
And I can remember the moment I messaged, I used to wear a dressing gown a lot back then. I was kind of like Hugh Hefner, you know? I'll tell you something about a dressing gown quickly. They're the most provocative things ever. If you ever want to get like in an argument with someone, wear a fucking dressing gown because it will spur fucking World War III. I know this.
Does it not just diffuse the situation because you sort of relaxed it in a robe?
I'm telling you.
With it slipping open.
No, man. If you wear a robe, you're going to exacerbate a situation where it's
Wow.
like fucking Nam too. You know what I mean? So I was lying in bed in this fucking robe. And,
The magic robe.
yeah. And I was kind of reading or something. I just kind of put the book down. I just thought, if I was going to message anybody right now, who would I message? And Rachel was like the only one who came to mind. And I messaged her, and I didn't think I'd get a reply, to be honest. It was just, hey, how you doing? It was just casual, no hanky-panky or anything like that.
Yeah.
Man. And I got a reply like straight away. I was like, whoa! Straight away, I was like, man. So we just messaged, we met up and stuff, and just really hit it off, man. Do you know what I mean?
Cool.
It's class to find someone your own wavelength. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just get on.
I mean, I was surprised when you got engaged so quickly, but then I thought, knowing you both, I was like, this is like perfect.
Yeah. It's strange though, because like you said there, it seems kind of quick, but to us, I feel like I've known it like years, man. It's so hard to put into like the words, really. But
in the right relationship, that's how it feels, isn't it?
It does.
Time just
pisses
by.
But trying to find that fucking ring, man. Spent 3 days looking for it. It was like Lord of the Rings, like fucking which one to pick.
Yeah.
There's one to fucking Mordor, find a fucking ring. But I found the bastard eventually.
She was happy with it?
Yeah, she was, man.
So then, because when you got together, then you moved to Newcastle.
Yeah.
What was the thinking behind that then initially? Was it, like, obviously I was thinking the band, I was thinking, oh cool, it's in Newcastle, that's where the band is. Thought that would work out perfectly.
That was it. That was the reason for going for me, you know what I mean? She'd been a student there.
Because I don't think people realise, but obviously you had to travel nearly an hour and a half every time you
3
hour
hour round trip
just to go
and
and rehearse.
For like 3.5 years, man. So it was a hard deal.
It's a big commitment, that.
I really wanted to fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was dedicated. I'm like, I'm gonna do this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we just both thought about it and thought, let's go over there. Do you know what I mean? Went over. It didn't really work out where we wanted it to, kind of thing. For about 2 months, it was great. Then everything just kind of fell to shit.
Yeah.
The wheels came off the proverbial bus, so to speak, over time.
Well, you got to try these things, haven't you?
You got to try. But it's nice being back in Carlisle now. You know what I mean? I now know that I like the simple life. You know what I mean? The fucking, I don't know, hobbit kind of lifestyle, right?
Just seemed like a better fit, I suppose.
Yeah.
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 Because you slip. Have you gone back to where you used to work then? Have you just gone back?
No, I'm with Stagecoach now.
Ah, okay, right, cool.
The enemy. It's funny because there it is. There's no
the
shit.
enemy.
Right. There's people who I used to work with at the other company. They won't talk to me now.
Just because you've worked for a different company?
Yeah, some of them, man. Deleted me off Facebook and shit.
That is pathetic. That's like...
I know. like
if you decided to support a different football team and someone deleted... It's the same thing.
I'm a bus wanker, Or chief bus wanker.
Bus wankers are the people who on the bus, not the driver.
Really?
The driver's never the
one.
What do they call Not usually. I don't know.
It's massive cunt. I've had that so many times, man.
Yeah, but you must have some experience with the people on the bus, though.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, God. Do you do the late night one sometimes?
Yeah. Get all kind in Newcastle. It was just all.
Is it like bulletproof glass now?
This is the thing. I maybe shouldn't be saying this. A lot of people think it's like bulletproof glass. It's plastic. So if you hear about a load of muggins and then being prosecuted, you know why I'll be in jail, bitch. So, but yeah,
that's life, though, isn't it? It worked out in the end. I think things happen for a reason.
Exactly.
I think you've ended up where you meant to end up.
Exactly.
So what's the situation with Hellion Rising then? Because obviously
that's the $1,000,000 question.
Yeah, because now you're working with another band as well.
But
obviously, because you're in Carlisle, this band's Carlisle based, so you've obviously it's easier for you. So what's the situation with Hellion Rising then?
Right. Where do I begin with this? To be honest, I'm in the band and I don't fully know myself. That's going to sound really baffling to the listeners out there.
Okay.
But what happened was, at the end of last year, I had a lot of things going on in my personal life.
Yeah.
And I kind of wasn't showing up to practice all the time. I'll put my hand up and say that. And then I eventually told them as to why that was happening. Mm-hmm. And they understood, you know what I mean? They were like, okay, that's cool kind of thing. So this went on for like a couple of months where things were just a little bit static, you know what I mean? But I always said that, once I got back to Carlisle kind of thing, I'm like good to go. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm ready kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we went to do, the last show we did, which was December time in
2017.
2017. Right, yeah. At Trillian's Rock Bar.
All right.
We got there, and things were on a bit of a lull. You know what I mean? Like, that happens in bands. Like you'll know this. Sometimes you're riding high, sometimes you feel a bit jaded.
Yeah.
I get to the show, And I speak to Davey, and Davey's like, "Oh well, I've been thinking about. I want to take a break. You know what I mean?"
Mm-hmm.
So I was just kind of like, "Well, I understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I completely get it. You know, we've been doing this for 6 years now, and if I'd rather you don't, I'd rather just like, you know, like when I get back to Carl, we just pick up and just, you know, hoof the ball and fucking run with it. You know what I mean? But he, you know, he said he wanted to take a break, and then Gio said something similar kind of thing. There was a few other reasons there. I won't really go into it.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
It gets a bit personal. I don't really want to be kind of like saying, well, he said this and he said that. And
no.
Because we're all still...
That's not why I asked. I just genuinely was wondering what the latest was, because I love that band. I don't want it.
I do, man. I fucking do. But I think the only thing I can really say is it's kind of like... I suppose it's kind of like Faith No More, in a sense, you know what I mean? We'll be back when we're back. If we want to come back, you know what I mean? I'm game. You know, like if they want to do it again at some point, sure.
I think you've just got to take the well-being of all the members into account, and if they want to take a break, take a break. That's like what we've done. We just felt it was the right time.
So what's going to happen there with you guys?
We don't know.
We've
decided that we just want to take a break, and we may come back, we may not.
Yeah.
Just
people. So it's a similar kind of thing. Isn't
it is very similar, yeah. But we were all in agreement that it was the right time. We all sort of felt the same thing at the same time. Like, I think it's time we should take a break. We were like, it's about the right time, because we've got all stuff going on in our personal lives that we needed to sort out.
Yeah.
So if we kept doing the band, it would kind of get in the way, and then it might become a bit of an issue. And none of us wanted to end like that. So it's just like, let's just take a break.
Do you find it tough being away from music?
Like, if it wasn't for this podcast, I probably would.
Really?
I have to admit, yeah, because
it's like you've left doing one thing, but then you're straight headfirst into something else, which you're really applying.
Because we left on such a high. After the release of the last EP, we did a great tour, and then the next year we had like loads of festivals and stuff lined up, and then it was. But we planned it, so it ended up at that time. So it didn't end up like we were just struggling around, like, you know, didn't know what to do. We planned how it was going to end.
Yeah,
so.
right.
So, yeah, we're all happy in. And
are you doing anything musically right now?
No, nothing.
Because I was thinking, like, I was having lunch earlier on, you know, Rach, and we were actually talking about, like, I wonder if he's doing anything like musically.
Nothing at all. No.
Some kind of secret project which I can get out of you tonight. And
Davey's doing some solo stuff.
Yeah,
like he's got some tracks, instrumental tracks that he sent me a couple of tracks. I'm going to do some vocals for him, put them down. But other than that, no, I've just been completely consumed by this, because it's just it's like getting easier to get guests, and it's getting like, you know, you can reach out to people, and everyone seems to be happy to come on the show, and it's just opening up to a lot of new avenues there.
Do you feel a lot more relaxed now?
I do.
Kind of step, because it seems that even from sitting here, you know what I mean, you seem like totally chilled.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You're like,
I mean,
yeah, man.
I would say this is work to do this, to like research the guests and edit and all that stuff, but it's still a lot less than doing a band to that level.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I'm just happier, and I'm not away from home.
You
very
really
often.
see it, man.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not away. It doesn't take me away from home. Doesn't take half as much time as that did. Doesn't
and the
cost
money
as much
as
money.
well,
Oh
man.
God,
fucking being broke. I like put my whole savings into fucking Hellion like 3 times, man.
Yeah.
You know, literally, and I don't regret it.
No,
you know, I have no regrets with it or anything. But
well, this is why I was talking about the music. Why I'm surprised you haven't listened to because at the end of the day, that's what's left. That's your legacy, is your music. And like, I put out 3 CDs, and I couldn't be prouder of them.
I find it hard listening to my voice on CD.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Do you never think that?
Not anymore. I used to.
Go, oh God,
I did it
me.
first.
You know,
I did it first, but I'm all right. I'm okay with it now.
Yeah. I don't know. I still
like sometimes
find it,
if I go to somebody's house, they'll put it on just because I'm there, and I'm like,
I always just like gauging like other people's reactions for it. You know what I mean?
I like your voice. I think your voice suits that band
perfectly.
perfectly.
It's okay,
yeah. I have no issues with it whatsoever.
Fucking cool. Thank you very much, man.
Live as well. I think you pull it off live.
I always prefer the live stuff, man.
Yeah.
I always want to do a live CD. That was kind of like my dream and goal, because I think we really would have captured the band.
The best place I would say to do that would be Bootleggers, if you ever did get the chance to do it.
That's Kendall, right?
Yeah. Their setup there is immense.
They would never have us, man.
I could sort you out, don't worry. Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
So if you ever get the position where you want to do it.
So if we're ever back.
If we ever
come back.
I'll sort it out. I'm going to have him on. He's coming on as well.
Is he?
Chris, the sound guy from there.
Put a word in for us.
Because he's also the sound guy, and he like books the gigs. And now that Jonty, the main man who owned it's died, he's kind of like taken over. Died last year.
I had no idea about that.
He was only in his 60, maybe 60s.
What happened?
I don't know, to be honest. Just that he passed away. But it's pretty sad, because he was that place.
Yeah.
So,
but it's interesting you should say like that, because that's the reason I feel like a band should never go, right, we're done. Because life's too fucking short, man.
But it
Do you know,
depends.
it's like-
If they're not happy and it's not working, then maybe ending it is the right thing, so people can move on to something else, so they end up happy.
Maybe.
It depends on the circumstances, because
Yeah.
they're all different. But
I think I'm just saying it on a selfish kind of point in that.
because you don't want it to end.
Maybe. I kind of
Yeah.
just want to be fucking Lemmy, you know? I just want to be 70 rocking around on my wooden hips going like, he doesn't even sound the same anymore. He can't hit those notes, but I'm still doing it right.
It's different these days though, because there's so much more to take into account when you're in a band, other than just playing songs, and there's all the business side of it and money,
Yeah.
which is non-existent.
How did you feel about the whole business side, like the management and...
It took a lot of getting used to, which is why we got signed with Raz in the first. But I have to admit, I learned a lot from Raz. I picked up a lot, and I was always paying attention, and I made a lot of notes, and so then
No, he's good at what he does.
Oh yeah. It got to the point where I was like, right, I feel we could do this ourselves now. It was just the right time, but I became accustomed to it. It's just when you get to a certain level, there's certain things that you have to sort of multiple things that you have to do at the same time, and you have to be on like social media is a big thing. Obviously your money, touring, like obviously my missus, she was great, like especially
in that sense,
that last tour, we couldn't have done it without her. She did all the logistics, working out pricings,
Really?
costings.
Wow,
She
man.
did the accommodation, saved us loads of money, worked out where we're going to be, and then you're going to do this, then you're going to do that, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
You see when-
you need that, you need you need a picture of what's your financial situation, how much money have you got, how much money have you not got.
Exactly. Because there's nothing worse than going on tour when you're fucking broke and you can't afford to eat.
Well,
Because
that's
I've
it.
been there before, you know.
You
It's
said
not
something
much-
last time that struck with me. And
Uh-huh.
I listened to it, and you said it, and I just passed it over. I didn't comment on it, but you said, I wrote it down. Paid gigs are few and far between.
They are.
But
You never get paid.
for us, that wasn't the case, and that's one thing I learned from Raz. Is
Really?
like,
So you got paid a lot.
well, not a lot, but we always made sure we
make
got
sure.
something. Because if
Maybe we just got robbed.
but it's just a case of, well, it's different when you first start. But after like 3 years, like, Raz was like, well,
Yeah.
this is how much you should charge. I think it was like 100 quid, then it was 200 and 200 as you get a bit more and you start playing bigger venues. But it was like, well, if they're not prepared to pay it, then you don't play. Because if you think about that person who said no, then sees you on a tour of all these other dates. So obviously all these other places have paid you. So we just started being selective, and it became less is more.
That's the way it be.
And then because when we first started,
I agree with that whole
anyway.
selective thing.
But it does work. It does work. You don't have to. At the end of the day, if you say no to an unpaid gig, then you're not losing any money. Whereas if you go and do an unpaid gig, what are the costs involved in that? Like food, accommodation, if it's far away. Do you know what I mean? If you keep doing that, it doesn't work.
Absolutely.
So eventually, start lower and then work your way up. And then when you go back, especially like, say someone like Bannerman's, like we first went there.
Because that's Edinburgh, right? Bannerman's,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
That's a great venue. First time we went there, we didn't get paid. Second time, I think we got like petrol money. We were like halfway at the bill. And then the next time we headlined, and they paid us quite well. And there's obviously accommodation there. You stayed upstairs.
Yeah.
So when you're headlining, you get to stay. Well, I think anybody can stay there now, but it just if you
Mm.
keep going back, you work your way up.
Right.
Sometimes you can play for free if it works out. If you've got a paid gig the next
I
night.
think if it's like a really big band you're playing with kind of thing, where you're going to get good exposure from it.
Yeah.
I completely agree with
Because
that.
that is it. Rage Sadler of Kane. He said he put something out on
Yeah.
Facebook a year ago or so about like there's no money in music or playing gigs and stuff, and that's one of the best things I learned from Raz is like don't do free gigs if you can avoid avoid it. You know,
right.
someone's always going to pay you.
Like, make a
If you're
stand.
good, fair enough. If you go to a new venue for the first time, maybe don't get paid
Yeah.
or like just petrol money or whatever. Do well, impress them, and then when you go back, you say, like, want some money.
We get like petrol money and stuff.
Yeah.
I just mean like a substantial amount where
Yeah.
you could. I'm not saying profit off it, but be a healthy amount.
Yeah,
you know?
because eventually you're gonna have to get to that point where you can sort of say, "Oh, we don't. This is our price. Take it or leave it." And that was for that last tour. That's pretty much where we ended up. I booked that whole last tour by myself.
Was there ever a point in Dynamo where you felt like you kind of hit a ceiling with it, and you're like, "Man, we just can't seem to get any further. Like, what is going on?" Because
Probably-
we felt like that.
Probably
we were like,
before we hired Raz,
really.
it just got to a point where because that was my first band. I didn't really know.
Really?
Well, I've been in a few bits and pieces, but nothing
Yeah.
to that level where I was actually trying to do it properly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because obviously it was Dynamo beforehand, so you can count that maybe as a different band. But
Yeah.
I felt like I was out of my depth, especially since we started doing quite well. I didn't know how to handle it all or organise it all.
It's a steep learning curve.
Yeah, it is. It
isn't
is.
It, man?
So then when we started doing gigs with Falling Red, and they were managed by Raz at the time, and they hooked us up with Razzie. He invited us to
Yeah.
play the Brickyard. That was the other thing I was going to
What was
mention.
it? Okay.
We talked about the first time we met,
Right.
which
sure.
was at the Brickyard,
Okay.
and then
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't remember the lineup. Do you remember?
Yeah.
We were saying
Mm-hmm.
there was a band who we just couldn't remember.
So have you found out who this is?
It was us, and it
Mhm.
was it? I can't remember if it was Falling Red,
It was. I'm pretty sure it
Yeah.
was Fallen Red.
and it was like there was one other band.
Was it Riffx?
I think it was, and there was one more
Yeah.
band.
And who was that?
Hellion Rising.
Who was me?
It was.
I
looked up. I went back and looked at the poster. I found the poster. It was you guys.
I have the worst memory in the fucking world, man. I really do. Like,
Because you were like, I can't remember why I was there.
that sounds about right.
Oh,
I
that's
forget
brilliant.
fucking yesterday, though, man. Do you know what I mean? I actually legit contributed down to headbanging so much for like fucking years, man. I've definitely been concussed.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Definitely,
Yeah.
man. Because I remember like some of them early shows. We did a show at the. It's funny, long term stuff I can remember really well. Short term, I'm not too good at.
I have a bit of that, to be fair.
Yeah, do you think it's anything to do with that? Like concussions or
Not right now.
no?
No, I've not had many concussions in my life.
Really?
And I've got a terrible memory, so
Yeah.
I don't know what it
know.
comes
I
down
used to do a
to.
bit of that backyard wrestling shit, so maybe
Oh, well, that could do with
maybe
it.
a few chair shots rattled my brains pretty good.
I think sometimes it's just genetics.
Do you think?
You know how, like,
Mhm.
that's why I think exams are bullshit.
Mhm.
I think it all should be, like, coursework. Because
Mhm.
when else in your life after you leave academic stuff does it, when do you
never-
ever have
you
exams
you never
at work?
do that, do you?
Like,
no.
in an exam, you're not allowed to have a book, you're not allowed to take
Mhm.
notes. But if you get a job,
Yeah.
well, no, you're not allowed to look that up.
I
You're not
suppose
allowed
like
to-
that with fucking algebra as well. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go shopping and use algebra, right? Like,
But
you're
then
never
then
fucking
it
gonna
just
do
favours
that.
people with better memories.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
if you can't remember stuff off the top of your head, then
Mhm.
you can't answer the question.
It's
But
a set
you could
mold.
like look it up and go, oh yeah, that's that,
Yeah.
that's that. Which is in real life, you're always going to be able to look something up. You're always going to have.
Yeah.
It just exams. I just think it's bullshit.
Yeah, that's the strange thing. The education system is just like one mold, and it's like you will conform to this,
Yeah.
and if you're good at it, you're good. But if you suck, yeah, just forget about it. You know.
And they often don't.
So maybe it'll change.
They don't teach you
someday.
about a lot of life skills. Like when you leave school,
Oh man,
I didn't know anything about mortgages, interest rates,
Oh,
loans, credit
man.
cards. Nothing. I knew
No.
nothing, and
No.
that's a huge life skill. That I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't. It makes
Mhm.
no. But like I was learning like protractors and
Yeah.
angles, and
Yeah.
it's just like
I don't know about you, but I kind of like learnt the hard way. I kind of like
I never learned.
still not,
Still learning.
because like when I was, I think up until I was about 19, 20, I kind of lived at home. I then had a little
Yeah.
bit of a turbulent kind of home life, and I just thought, fuck this, I'm moving out. I went to live with my brother, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I worked out the other day. I was living on something like under 600 quid a month, doing everything, running a car, paying Alex rent. I was fucking flat broke, man, eating fucking beans all the time and
Yeah.
shit. You know what I mean? I was like fucking Hook Finn or something, Stig of the Dump. And I just learnt the hard way, because I can remember like I never touched a damn iron in my whole life. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
That
not,
out of the packet look.
yeah, right. So like I'm getting ready for. I used to toss salad for a living. Oh shit, I was a salad tosser.
You
right?
were a tosser.
Yeah, I
back
was.
in the day.
I was a tosser, man. I got paid $6.50 an hour to toss salad. Right?
Wow.
Sure. And I can remember like I'd never ironed before. I still don't really iron now. And like I can remember I was listening to the Melvins, and it was their cover of "Going Blind" by Kiss, and I was like saying, "I think I'm going blind." I put the iron straight through the fucking trousers, black smoke everywhere. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go to work in these. So I'm sure that day I had like a hole in my fucking leg with it.
Or an iron-shaped patch on your pants.
Yeah, it was the only pair of pants I had for work.
Oh my god.
But I learnt the hard way, not paying bills and having people. I had the taxman chase me for money because I didn't pay the taxman. I was like 20. I was fucking broke, and I ended up paying him. I'm talking as if he's a person. The tax HMRC.
I like to
like-
characterize it as a person.
I know, right?
Something more accountable that you can punch in the face.
I basically had to ring them up when I was trying to like, I can't afford to pay, so like, okay, pay back like £1 a week or something. So
Yeah.
I was like Wesley Snipes. It was either like go to jail or like pay £1 a week. So
At least they could allow you to do that. They could have been twats and just said, no,
Exactly.
you owe this money and you're going to jail.
I did legit think about doing a Wesley Snipes though. I'm like, how bad can jail be? Really? You know what I mean? Like free lodgings, fucking my mates are there and shit. You know what I mean?
I don't think you would have wanted to find that one out.
I don't think
That's a
so.
hard way you would not want to learn.
I maybe wouldn't be here.
There'd have been no Hellion Rising.
No.
I don't.
I'd be like Gigi Allen, come on, just eat shit and whatever.
Thinking back to that first time you were here, I don't know if I asked you where the name Hellion Rising came from. Did we? Can you remember?
I can't remember.
I don't
It
think I asked you
came-
that.
Basically.
Did they have that name before you hooked up with them?
Yeah. it was Davey's name.
It's a cool name.
Davey's a massive Judas Priest fan.
Right.
And I was like, oh man, like, what's the story behind the name? I thought there'd be some elaborate story. It basically took like half of one song title and took half of the other and put them together. I was like, dude, like, seriously? Like, I thought there's got to be some great story, like, fucking.
Let me just check. I want to do the Google test.
Because is
your
it
band.
the Hellion Electric Eye, and what would Rising be like? Was there a song called Judas Rising? Was that one of Priest's songs?
Yeah.
Was that on
Yeah.
Sad Wings of Destiny or something?
All I want to check is what happens when you put that in Google.
Can I tell you something, right?
Go for it.
I don't know if I said this last time, because I have a terrible habit of, like, repeating myself.
Yeah, look at that. Google. You've come up top.
Really?
That's good.
Wow. Good. I hated the name when I fucking heard it, man. I couldn't stand the fucking name. I was like, oh my god, it's like fucking... like something a 12-year-old would come up to, you know what I mean? I was like, dude, I'm in Hellion Rising. But you grow to it, you know what I mean? It became us. I could then relate to it and go, this is actually us kind of thing. I actually really started to like the name, you know?
Yeah. So did you
I couldn't think of anything better.
Well, that's half the battle, isn't it?
I probably would have called the band like Stainless Steel Anus or something. Like.
To be fair, though, the fact that you come up top when you type your band name in, that's a big thing these days with all the names that are out there.
Really?
That's part of the reason why we have to change our name from Dynamo.
Didn't you? Was there some kind of lawsuit or something?
No. It was to avoid that, I suppose.
That was the room. It's like they got sued off that magician and.
No, yeah, well, it was when we signed the management deal. It's just like you got to change your name because A, because of him, and B, because there's just a million other bands called that. If you just and like especially back then on Facebook, you type it up and it would just be like millions of Dynamos, and they weren't just bands, they were like products and services. Couldn't find us. If people can't find you in a few 10 to 20 seconds, to just give up. Or like Google, if you're not on the first maybe 2 pages, they're not going to bother.
Or something.
So for you, that's good. That you don't get that very often.
Man, yeah,
so that's good.
Because I know that do you know who Hyrax are? The thrash band.
Yeah. It's like California or something like that.
Yeah, they're from the Bay.
Is it Cat and
P, something or other.
Hyrax, I think that's his. Well, on Facebook, that's what I think his name is. Yeah, black dude.
Yeah. Fucking
Another
cool,
guy.
Man. They had a song called Hellion Rising.
Ah, right.
Like after us, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was on one of their modern albums, and
right.
we got message of people like, "You're ripping off Hyrax and shit like this." You know, like, we're gonna kill you. It's like
send him a screenshot of like your info. Formed 2000. When were you formed?
I was 21. So what's that?
How old are you now?
I'm 27 now, I think.
6 years ago.
Terrible memory. So yeah, 2011, 2012.
Yeah. So just have a screenshot of Hellion Rising formed 2010. Fuck you.
Yeah. But it's just this culture now, like fucking keyboard warriors and you got to be so careful what you say now because people are so pissy and fucking.
Because you were saying
sensitive.
Last time you were here, you were saying about that guy who always used to trash talk you guys.
Yeah, what was it?
You never mentioned his name, but
I had
why?
that all the time.
There's just one guy, just like follow you, always comment on your stuff. You were saying.
Can I say his name on this?
It's your call.
Chris Sumby, was it?
No, doesn't ring a bell.
He's just his ginger-haired guy, random ock. I don't know. Like he just seemed he didn't
took
like
a dislike to your band and
he just called us out all the time and said we were shit. And
had he seen? Oh, that was the thing. Yeah, he never saw you live though.
I don't think so.
Or had he even listened to your music?
I never even spoke to them much in his whole fucking life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get it.
I don't know if I maybe knocked his drink over in a bar by accident or something. That's something I don't know about.
Stole his girlfriend or something.
You never know, right?
But. Yeah,
but you get that though. Like we
did
a show at the Brickyard one time, and I think it was the King Lot who were after us kind of thing.
Great band.
They are a good band. They're a really good band.
They
I
are.
like them. I saw them play with Taiketo.
Oh yeah.
On the last Taiketo tour, they're great. But I remember after we came off, the guy said some shitty comment about me on stage. He was saying some things about me.
Oh right.
Yeah, he was being like derogatory. I'm like,
oh.
I was like, God, I don't even know that guy. You know what I mean? Like, fair enough if I was a total fucking asshole, but like, I don't think I was.
We all know that you're not. Yeah, I don't get that though. Like, bad mouth. No one comes off well.
Unless it was some joke which I missed, but he said something. But
yeah, unless you had a split down the back of your pants during the gig or something.
Like, an iron mark. I'm the king of doing just shit like that, man.
One of the other thing I remember was your Arnie impression was off the chain.
How you doing? Come with me if you want.
What you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Get to the chopper.
I probably should have went into that, the voice acting thing.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't. I'm terrible. I can't think of stuff off the top of my head. Like I try and do Bugs Bunny, like, watch out, Doc.
I always find if I've been singing a lot, my voice is always like a lot deeper. It's got a lot more bass to it.
It goes gravelly.
Yeah, but if I haven't been, it seems to get almost a bit higher and a bit more clean. Whereas, I don't know, just
funny
weird.
how different things affect that.
Like you could tell if you'd had a video of me, you could tell if I've been like when the band was going, if we'd been on tour and a lot of gigs, and my voice is quite deep. But if not, it seemed to be it's
strange.
changed. It's weird.
Strange.
I suppose it's because they say it's a muscle, isn't it? And if it's been worked, it sounds a bit different.
The thing.
Yeah.
My voice is just really gravelly now.
Yeah.
Like
it's all the years of shouting.
I think so. It's just like I can't really hit clean notes anymore.
Okay.
That's
you don't really have a lot of clean notes, though, do you?
I would like to. There's sometimes I hear like some like Queensryche, like Jeff Tate, and I'm like, I just can't even do anything like that now. I got to do clean note. It just sounds like a bag of gravel hitting the floor, you know.
Have you had many lessons?
I never had any lessons, man.
That could sort you out.
Do you think?
Yeah,
definitely. I should maybe do that.
Definitely.
I should maybe go and do that.
There's always work that you can do. Yeah, things that you don't even know about your voice that someone will teach you and you go, I did not know that. Even just breathing helps. Yeah. Like from your diaphragm and all that.
I'd really like advise that to anybody with a really clean voice though. Like if you want to keep that voice, really take care of it. Because I didn't. I smoked and I drank and I like my voice. I like what I've got. But you know,
it fits the band, to be fair.
Exactly.
But it's like long term. Looking after it and maintaining
once
it.
You've done it, that's it, man. It's that whole like Don Dokken thing. It's like it's gone. You'll never see it again. So
yeah. Same. I would always recommend earplugs.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well.
I have no ringing in my ears whatsoever.
And I do, and it's fucking terrible, man. Like I go to bed, it's like there's a car running in the room all night. It sounds funny. I want to kill myself.
Because you get those people like fucking earplugs are for pussies. It's like I'll ask you about that in 20 years. See what you say then.
I won't be able to hear, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, what? I rest my case.
Yeah.
but
Alex is the same though.
He never wears earplugs.
And he's deaf. He's fucking deaf. Like we lived in the same house for.
He did well when he came on here. Then he held a conversation.
Did he?
Well, you let Dave do most of the talking.
The dude, right? This is the dude, Alex. Right? Alex is the master of doing surgery on himself. He's like,
what does that even mean?
Let me just tell you, right? I'll tell you where I'm going with this shit, right? He had these fucking things growing on his ear. Keloids or some shit, right? I'm like, you should really go to the doctor about that. He's like, no, fuck it, I'll just do it myself. So he got like, I don't know, like a fucking razor blade. He's there like shaving these things off his ear. He's like pissing blood. He's just like,
oh my god.
And he had like, this other time he had like this fucking abscess under his skin. I'm like, you're gonna get sepsis and fucking die. Yeah. You need to go to hospital. He's like, no, fuck it. He took a guitar string off, like something like that.
Yeah.
And he just shoved this string into this fucking abscess. Exploded everywhere. He was just like some Victorian apothecary or some shit. But I'll tell you where I'm going with this, right?
There's more.
There is. So, he got the mother of all like ear infections, right? In both ears. How is that even possible? And then,
my god, a dual ear infection.
Yeah, right. And again, I was like, you need to go to a doctor. You need fucking antibiotics or something. You know, you're gonna go deaf or brain dead or something. You know,
could be serious. Yeah.
So, yeah, fuck it. So he got like a pen like this, and he put it in his fucking lug and he poked around. And,
oh my god!
Right, but it worked. This is the amazing thing. It worked for a day. And then he went on this flight.
Oh no, that's the worst.
Yeah, right. He went on this flight to right. He went on this flight to fucking Spain with his then girlfriend at the time. And basically, when he hit 10,000 feet, his eardrums exploded both of them at the same time. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
And he was deaf. He was fucking deaf. He was like Louis Ferrigno. He came back and I cannot talk. He was like, no, like, I'm not mocking people saying that, but he couldn't hear a fucking thing. You know what I mean?
Shit.
And he went to the doctors and all kinds of specialists and stuff. And they were like, you're probably going to be deaf for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? And somehow it healed on his own. You know, it like did heal, and he can hear a lot better now. But
did you not get any antibiotics at all, or any sort of thing to help?
Well, he cleared it out. He like poked all that shit out with that pen. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I suppose doing that, getting all the shit out, and then keeping it clean, I guess.
Yeah, but he was lucky.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. God knows.
Because does he have all piercings and those, whatever you call them?
I really
Tunnel
don't. I don't know what caused it. He has got like tunnels and stuff. But
How long ago was this?
he almost 2 years ago, maybe.
All right,
2
well,
years, because
fairly,
he was
fairly recently.
yeah,
Then.
because I remember he was saying I might have to just retire from music because I just I could be just legally deaf from now on. Because we'd be at family meals, he just couldn't really talk because he was deaf,
Shit.
couldn't hear anything.
That's the kind of thing you expect of old granddad at the end of the table, not young Alex.
Exactly. But he's been lucky, and it went back to normal. But I remember like when I lived with him, like he would be in one room and I'd be in the kitchen. I'd say to him, "Hey man, would you like a coffee or something?" And he'd talk to me. It'd be like fucking Charlie Brown's teacher talking through the wall. Like, I'm like, what the hell is he saying? You know what I mean?
God.
I have to go through, and he couldn't hear me. It was like, oh god.
But he's better now.
Yeah, to the point where you can hear. Just kids at home wear fucking ear defenders, or you'll end up like fucking me. You know what I mean? Registered deaf when I'm.
If I'm playing or if I'm in the crowd, I always wear them either way because it's like sometimes if you're near a speaker, you can feel the vibrations.
Yeah, sure.
like
man.
rattling your fucking.
What's
ear.
who's the loudest band you've ever seen?
That's a good question.
You say Motorhead?
Probably Motorhead.
You think?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't remember what year that was.
Yeah, that was loud.
It was a good few
They
years
were
ago.
loud.
But I've seen them twice, and the first time was just so loud I couldn't enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had earplugs.
Yeah. You couldn't actually hear the music. It just
It's
was
just-
white noise,
it's
doesn't
just-
it?
I felt like it was an earthquake all the time.
Mhm.
Literally like Jurassic Park.
Fuck,
If you had a glass with the
man.
thing shaking, it's just like you feel your pants moving with the vibration of the kick drum and all that stuff. It's
Oh
just like,
man.
that's loud. It wasn't as bad the next time,
Yeah.
but
Do you know, honestly, the loudest band I've ever seen? I thought it was Machine Head a few years ago, but I saw Seek Solace in Ruin
all right,
at the last
they are loud.
Metal to
They
the
are a loud
Masses.
band.
Holy shit, that was fucking deaf. That was deaf.
Did you have ear defenders?
No, I didn't. I was stood right next to the fucking stack with my ear to it like this, you know what I mean?
Oh.
And I got up for work the next day, right? And I had like ringing in my ear to the point it was like a fucking musical melody. It was like doo 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 doo. And I had that all day. I'm like, I'm gonna have to live with this forever now. You know what I mean? This fucking jingle in my ear, like an
Yeah.
elevator or something.
Do you know from tinnitus or tinnitus, however you pronounce it, people have killed themselves.
Yeah,
It's got that
I
bad.
can
They
believe
just-
it, man.
Like they can't sleep.
It's like a bloody fog
Never-
on in your ear all
Yeah,
the time. You know,
It's just
man.
like a constant, just drives people insane.
I've got it. Yeah, man. It's shit. It's
So you
fucking
are an advert for people to fucking wear ear protection.
pretty much.
Jesus.
You know what I mean?
Especially young musicians just think,
Yeah.
fuck that shit. I'll
But-
worry about that later.
But like, it's like, like it's hard to explain. But like, do you remember like when you used to go somewhere it's just absolutely silent and you can't hear anything,
Yeah.
like nothing?
That's
I
the worst thing, isn't it?
I never have that now though.
No.
Because wherever I go, I've got like some fucking noise in my ear,
Yeah.
you know,
That's-
either high pitched or whatever, or low pitched. If I'm just talking to you, I don't hear it when I'm doing stuff.
Yeah, but
But when
when
I'm-
silence.
In silence, if I'm lying in bed at night, yeah, I can hear it. You know, so it's weird. It can be different. It can sound like a car running outside, like
Yeah.
just droning, high pitched. But
You deal with
that's it. I deal with it.
it. Yeah,
I made those choices.
you did.
I wasn't informed. Damn Marshall and the Mode 4
We're trying
amps.
to inform people now,
Yeah,
aren't we? We're doing our best.
We're trying to educate people.
Annihilator was pretty loud.
Mhm.
Went to see Annihilator in
In-
AEC in Glasgow.
Glasgow.
Stood right next to the speaker.
Mhm.
Yeah, you were.
You,
I was in the. I got
he
stuck
comes
in.
up to me and he goes, I'm just going to go in the mosh pit. And I looked at and I'm like, okay. And then I forgot about him and I'm like enjoying the music. And then I look over and oh, where's he gone? I just see like his head popping up. Oh, there he is.
Really?
Oh, there he is.
I thought.
And then he comes back he comes back holding his shoe.
Really?
I got my shoe.
Like limbs everywhere, to shreds.
Oh, it
You
was
say.
mental.
That,
He was loving it though.
that was the best.
It was
Yeah.
good. It was
Yeah,
good.
I was like a little dog in long grass.
Man, fucking hell. I used to like live for the pit at one time.
I've never been one for the pit.
Really?
If that makes me a pussy, I guess I am. But
I learnt the hard way at a Testament gig. I got pretty fucked up by these big bald guys, you know. I got picked up like a sack of fucking taties and thrown around. And I was like, never again.
oh,
I came out of there looking like fucking Hamburger Hill. You know, it's like
worst,
that
I-
was the I
worst I've ever
retired
had.
after that.
even though I wasn't actually in the pit, was Limp Bizkit in 2004, 3. I can't remember.
That'd be chaos.
It was. They had like a cage along the front of the stage, and Fred Durst had a fucking water cannon.
Really?
Fucking going,
Like an actual cage?
Yeah.
Wow, like man. Was that
and
just
there was
thought
just
aesthetics
people,
or
like-
like?
It started like bottles and then shoes, and then people started.
It's like, oh man.
What's going on? And I didn't realize at the time, but then like I had like bruises, purple all down here and all on my arms and my shoulders.
Yeah.
It's just
insane.
Crazy.
How do you feel looking back on bands like Limp Bizkit? Do you go, they were really that
I
good?
appreciate them. I really appreciate
any
them.
embarrassment there? Or?
Even if I'm not like, I wouldn't like Green Day. I used to love Green Day.
Green Day were
back
awesome
in
at one
'94 on
time,
the Dookie tour. It was like brilliant, but I'm not. I wouldn't call myself a fan anymore. But I don't like. Look, I don't like them anymore. I hate them. I can still appreciate them. They were still part of my growing up. You know what I mean? They're a huge influence on my life, and I can still listen back to those old albums. And I'm back there. Being
It's a shame there was never really anything as big after new metal. Do you know? It kind of just
I think I mentioned that last time.
petered out, and then
New metal in the early 2000s was pretty much the last new genre that was like
Sure,
worldwide,
right.
commercially.
maybe metalcore a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
little bit,
But then it kind of, it's kind of like dropped down to these small subgenres which never really,
It's
they don't
weird.
translate. You don't see any of that in like the mainstream.
Maybe ultimately that's a bad thing. You know, in
Maybe.
a sense, you know, maybe
Maybe.
not for creativity, but
Well, metal gets so drops down at like hierarchical, as like grindcore, metalcore, black metal, death metal.
Yeah.
It just keeps going down. And
there's
split
every
into
kind
so
of
many
core now,
categories.
priest core, and
Yeah, it's not just metal. It's like
Just stick core on the end.
I know, man. You can though, can't you?
post-Victorian vegetable core. It's just,
Yeah, man, fucking Roman core.
But yeah, I look back at it, it's like it's just good times, just enjoying it. Like
Yeah.
even Brit rock, like with Oasis. And
man, I fucking love Oasis.
did you see that documentary,
I
Supernova?
didn't, no, I didn't.
Oh,
Is it worth
It was
watching?
yeah, it's. I don't know if it'll be on the iPlayer anymore. It was on the BBC. They showed it. I've got it recorded in my house. You can come around and watch it sometime.
I should do.
You can buy
We
it
can
on
have a
DVD
night
as well.
in.
Yeah, I love a nice
Netflix
romantic
and
night.
chill.
In.
Yeah, right.
But it's really
Bring the duvet down.
yeah, it's really interesting now because
Yeah.
someone thought to take a load of footage back in the day, and it's
I don't know
like-
why people knock them. Like you get a lot of people now, like, oh man, Oasis. Like,
Yeah, but you get that.
how can you listen to them?
you get
Like,
that any genre, don't you?
Yeah.
But it's.
But then in 20
this
years,
comes back to this people removing you off Facebook because you now work for their rival company. It's like people like to be put on a team, or like to have a team, and you can't support another team. If you do, we don't like you. It's like,
Yeah.
why? I don't get it. Why can we not all just?
do you feel like people complain more about things?
Yeah, because
'Cause I feel-
they've got the internet now.
And,
It's
like,
easier to complain
about
behind a
like-
keyboard.
Exactly.
It's just they've got
You
nothing
know,
better to do.
Like, I can always remember the Ultimate Warrior, you know, the wrestler kind of thing.
Mhm.
He was like promoting one of the new games, WWE K14 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And
God rest his soul.
I know, man. Damn, I did cry when he died actually. But
You are a huge wrestling fan.
I fucking love wrestling.
I'm
man.
a distant wrestling fan. I used to be,
Distant.
but not so much anymore. Anyway.
We'll get you back into it.
Yeah.
But I can remember there was this guy in the audience, like a press member, is like, yeah, the game's really cool, but they've got your hair wrong, man, in the game. Like, your hair is not right. Your hair was never that big. I just remember this Ultimate Warrior, like, full of steroids. Like, he was going beetroot red, like he was going to fucking kill this guy. He's like, the hair doesn't matter. Why does everybody have to be so critical? And it was just great, though. It was like, man, like, why does everyone have
He had a point.
The slightest things as well. It was just like, enjoy the fucking game.
In a way, I would look at that
You know.
as almost a compliment because they've got. If that's all they've got to pick at, then so be
Exactly
it.
right.
It's like we'll take that.
I never saw it that way, but you're absolutely correct.
I try to look at the
Same.
positives in things,
Yeah,
bypass the negatives, because life, like you say, life's too short to focus on the bad.
exactly.
Sometimes it depends. I don't mind accurate criticism, or constructive criticism. But if someone's just been a dick, then I just ignore it.
Exactly. Just gotta move forth and bite the bullet. You know, like George Foreman used to say, like, water off a duck's back, let it roll.
Exactly.
One of the greatest things I've ever heard, though.
But like you say, life is short. You got to make the most of it.
It's far too short.
So your new band,
Far too
is it officially a new band, Bösen?
Yes, Bösen's my new band.
Have they got a Facebook page?
Yeah, I don't think it's been updated in a while. Because
Okay.
this has been a band for, like, maybe about a year. They've had a few vocalists and stuff, but nothing, like, serious, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So, like, what happened was, when Hellion went on this break, I just wanted to get out there and do something straight away.
Has Hellion officially announced that they're taking a break?
I don't think we've officially announced it, but
Okay,
I'm
I
not-
guess you are
I'm
now.
not- I guess we are now, unless, you know, they
Might as
want
well
to
just be honest about
They
it.
want to say differently, you know what I mean?
But there's no harm in putting a post out saying we're taking a bit of a break. We'll be
Uh-huh.
back at some point.
Yeah.
At least then your fans will know
I
what's
guess
going
we'd all
on.
have to talk about it.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But what's worse, that or just nothing
Mm-hmm.
to your fans?
True. But then, like, we've got a gig, like, in June and stuff, like, apparently.
Oh, have you? Oh,
Well,
okay.
I assume we're still booked for it.
Like a festival or something.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like in Oxford or some shit.
Well, if you're all up for
know.
doing it, then why not?
So we'll just see. We'll see what happens.
Anyway,
you know.
back to the Bösen.
So when they were deciding they wanted to go on a break, I just thought, well, I don't want to be sitting around
You gotta
doing
do
nothing.
something.
I'm going to
Yeah.
go out there and get back to it.
You're a
you know.
singer. You want to
I'm
sing.
a singer. I want to rock. As cliched as that sounds, I want to rock.
rock.
Right? And the plan was, I just wanted to be in a rock band. You know,
Right.
I just wanted to actually sing again, and I, put adverts out there and messaged a lot of people, and I heard fucking nothing of anybody. Do you know what I mean? It was like gunfight at the OK Corral, the old tumbleweed. May as well have rolled by, and I'm like, well, maybe that's it. Maybe I'm done. Do you know what I mean? But then a guy I knew, who I've known for a very long time, a drummer called Matty Cartner, is a drummer at Bösen. He was like, you should come down and like try out. I think you'll like it. And it is like some of the heaviest stuff I've ever heard. It's like,
Did he send you some stuff to listen to?
I just went to jam with him.
Okay.
I just
So you
went-
went in a jam with him, not really knowing.
No,
what
I
the
didn't
sound-
know
what the
much
sound-
about it.
Cool.
It's like Gajira crossed with Alice in Chains. In sound, it sounds like Tool at times.
But musically,
musically,
but add your voice to it, and I suppose that changes it.
yeah. But I'm doing different stuff this time as well.
Okay.
Like
in what way?
I'm doing kind of like my Hellion vocals, but I'm doing a lot of stuff like death, kind of Chuck Skulder
Okay.
kind of vocals as well. A bit of Carcass, Napalm Death. Just kind of being angry.
So
you know?
less melodic. More,
Yeah,
More aggressive.
more aggressive,
But
less melodic.
But it fits the music.
completely.
Yeah. Cool.
Completely. You know what I mean?
Have you got to the demo stage or anything?
No demo on stage as yet.
Cool.
I've got recordings on my phone.
So if they,
You know,
how long?
like-
Do you know how long they've been going?
About 12 months.
All right. Cool.
But they've just
Right.
been in and out of like trying to find people who are dedicated.
Get the right.
That's
lineup.
always the thing with bands, you know what I mean? It's easy to find people, but it's hard to find people who actually want to give it a stab and actually really want to go out there and try and, conquer the world, so to speak.
Me and Tech were talking about this yesterday while we were editing
Mhm.
videos about finding committed musicians who can even just show up to rehearsal.
Exactly,
It's like-
right?
That's step one.
Yeah.
It's getting 4 or
Mhm.
5 people who can just
People who are
commit
gonna-
to showing up once a week
yeah,
to play
right.
for an hour or 2 hours, whatever.
Mhm.
It's hard. It's harder than you
Yes,
think,
it is.
isn't it?
I know, man. Because it's disheartening as well when you get people like, yeah, I'm like totally game, and then like they don't, they're gone. You never
Just
hear
drop
from
off
them
the face
again.
of the planet. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like the girl who got away. You know what I mean? It's like, damn it, the pain never leaves. But these guys are just really great musicians.
So
You know.
do you make a 5-piece then?
It's a 5-piece,
Yeah,
yeah. Two
cool.
guitars, bass, drums, me,
Cool.
and just like they're like a well-oiled machine. They can just go in. They don't have to practice. You know what I mean? Whereas I'm used to like practicing every week. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They hadn't practiced for like fucking 3 months.
Oh, okay.
And
So
I just
you coming
walk
back
in-
made them get their shit together then? I
Yeah,
suppose?
pretty
Ah,
much.
cool,
Because they're
cool.
they got a singer now.
So
So
did they have many songs written when you got there?
they
then?
got a whole album.
So what about the previous like lyrics or vocals that anyone
No,
else
just all been
previously did?
scrapped.
All right,
They've
cool.
all
That's
been
good for you.
Yeah. So it was Matty's brother, like Andy Cartner, who was the vocalist. But Andy's
Ah, right.
Andy's like
Right.
he's in the Meltdowns, like a horror punk band in Carlisle.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal punk vocalist. He's really good. I just don't think it was his kind of thing,
Right.
with that band. So he kind of like, I like this, but it's not me. And he
Yeah.
just stepped aside and went
Yeah.
back to the Meltdowns. But it's funny how you have intentions of doing one thing, and then it's like, I wanted to do like rock, and now I'm in like the heaviest band fucking possible. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, shit, man, I couldn't have asked for heavier.
It's just whatever opportunity presents itself, isn't it? You just gotta go with
Exactly.
it.
But I'm trying to be more kind of like I'll do a lot of things now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to just tie myself to like one band
No,
anymore. I
no.
thought, you know what? Again, going back
Few
to this
different
life's too
pies.
short kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
I want to.
And if one of them happens to sort of develop and go a bit further, then
Mhm.
you'll
yeah,
commit to it a bit more, I
of
suppose.
course, man.
Did you ask him about the name? Where did they get the name from? It's cool.
I don't
like
know
it.
anything about the name actually. Yeah,
'Cause it's Bösen and there's like a
it's
double.
an umlaut.
I
It's
always
got
forget
the-
that word.
I know
Is it
it's
over the
hard.
O?
It's over the O.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
An umlaut.
yeah, umlaut.
Nice
Um,
German word.
Yeah, I think I said it right.
Yeah, yeah.
I could
yeah.
just always remember that from a Motorhead interview with Lemmy.
Oh, of
He
course.
said something
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the umlaut, and I'm like, man, that's fucking cool.
Motley Crue got one of them as well.
I think they do, yeah.
It's
Hmm.
cool. Does add a bit of character to the name.
It does.
But I confused it with Bose, the speakers company.
Oh,
I was
right,
like,
yeah.
Bösen, right.
Because
But yeah.
Alex was like to me, it sounds like Bösen. I'm like, fuck off, man. Like he always has to like diss something I'm doing. You know what I mean? He dissed Hellion Rising when I started with that. I showed him like the demo. He's like, oh, by the way, it's shit. I was
Yeah,
like,
but I shouldn't change his tune as you got a bit further down the line, though.
I hope so. You never know with him, though. You
No,
know?
he said when he was here, he said he was proud of you.
Yeah,
He's got your back, don't worry.
that's good.
Brotherly
That's good
love.
to hear. It's nice to see him back with TSA.
Yeah. Officially announced it live on this show.
I know, like the worst kept secret of all time.
Yeah, pretty much.
'Cause, like everybody
and
kind of.
the 6th gig.
Yeah,
I was
right.
like,
It was
who
like-
else they're going to have?
I know. It's like
What other band would be the perfect fit for that? Gee, let me think.
I know, right?
That's going to be sick.
But
6th is going to be sick.
you got tickets for that?
No,
You're
not actually.
outside.
No, I need to.
Really? Message Al. I know they're
Yeah.
selling like hotcakes, so
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I should get on that.
you know, I thought I was gonna miss out, and then Alex was like, "Yeah, you need to like pay me for these now. Oh, I will give them to somewhere else."
I was going to say, if your own brother can't sort you out, something
I
wrong.
know. But he was just after the coin, man. I'm
Yeah.
sure of it.
Every ticket sale counts.
Mhm.
But they deserve it anyway.
They do.
That sort of supports.
I'm
a lot.
amazed they never got signed or haven't been signed as of yet. Because you watch them, you're like, well, I think they've got everything.
They have, but they don't.
don't-
They're not. They're not. I don't think they're out there enough.
Do you think that's
They-
what it
they
is?
work a bit more
Mhm.
sporadically. Well, that's just the only way they can work, and it works
Mhm.
for them. But I
Yeah.
think they'd have to be a bit more full time
Mhm.
almost to
And do more
Go-
shows. And
yeah,
try to be more productive
and get a bit
stuff.
further afield. I think.
Yeah.
But
I
if
think
if they
the-
could do that, I don't think they'd have any problems. To be honest, the music's there,
Yeah.
the live performance is there. It's all there.
I think they're trying to go for that. Do you know Sleep Token?
Don't
Are you
think so.
familiar with that?
No.
They're like a tech band kind of thing.
Oh,
But
okay.
they thrive more on, I guess, suspense. You know what I mean? They do very few shows, and then it's all word of mouth. You know what I mean? It's worked for
No,
them,
it does work. It does work.
and I think that's what they're kind of trying
well,
to go
for
for.
Hellion
you know what I
Rising. For Hellion Rising, for
Mhm.
Sun Exposed, that has worked.
mean? Mhm.
Like this took a break. Now this gig will be
yeah,
mad.
exactly. But it's weird
Works.
though, because they take the time away, but then they come back, and then they're like still as relevant as ever.
Exactly.
know
That's
what I
just
mean? That's
testament
just
to
like-
the quality of their music.
They are
I
a
think.
cult kind of band.
Yeah.
I always kind of think of them as like Carlisle's kind of like Black Flag in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That DIY kind of punk ethic of let's just do it ourselves and do our own thing and cut our own path. I think
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah. Cumbria's got a few bands to be proud of, like
Mm-hmm.
Cult 45 as well. I
Yeah.
really rate them.
What are they doing
Falling
now?
Red.
What are they
I
doing
think
now?
they've got some new stuff coming out.
Yeah.
I think they've just announced some new stuff. I'm gonna
Mhm.
get them on here
Mm-hmm.
at some point.
Fantastic.
But yeah, I love those guys. Great
Mhm.
band. They've been going a long time.
Yeah.
No.
Because what were they called before? They had another name, didn't they? Because they're from Workington originally.
Yeah, Cult 45. I can't remember.
Do you remember what they were called?
No.
I saw a band on Facebook the other day, Cult 44.
Really?
I was like, I was like, does anyone
Bastards.
do the research
Where
before you
they-
choose your band name?
Where are
Yeah,
they
man.
from?
Cult 44 or Cult 45?
Got 44.
I don't know.
Where they're from.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Alright, if they're from like,
Sue the
the
bastards, man.
if
If they
they're
were from
Everything
Whitehaven,
they've got.
all right, yeah. If they're from like the States or something, it's like, all right, fair
Mhm.
enough.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't
man.
look actually. I just
Mhm.
saw it and chuckled. I was like, maybe they're
Yeah.
like a Cult 45
Mhm.
tribute band.
Yeah. You never know, right? Mhm.
I had a dream once that would
Mhm.
be weird. A compliment would be to have another band cover one of your songs.
Mhm. I don't think that's ever happened.
No,
Did that ever happen?
No.
Uh huh.
Not properly. Absolver used to jam on
Yeah.
one of our, and their soundcheck they used to play some of our stuff.
Yeah.
That was quite cool.
I tell you
The
the
fact that they'd actually took, and they're like, I'm talking like they took the time to learn the riffs
Really?
and
They
stuff. I was
actually
like,
knew it.
whoa,
Yeah.
that's cool.
The only thing which has ever happened, which kind of comes like close to that, is do you know who Clunge Destroyer are?
Yeah. We
They
all
wrote
know.
this. They wrote
Yeah.
the song about us.
Yeah, we've got a
you
song
know.
about us as well.
Do you have a song as well?
Yeah, yeah. Is it
I
about
love
3 seconds long?
I think it might be 14. This one.
Okay, right. Wow.
So it's like they're kind of the wall, I suppose. You know, so they're kind of prog masterpiece.
Yeah.
But what was the name of it? It's like, oh God, I can't even remember what it was. It was really derogatory though, and I can't even say it. Actually, it's pretty awful. But
Oh, they have some
yeah.
very offensive song names.
But they're going for the whole anal cunt kind of thing because
Yeah,
there's people they're
yeah.
nothing like that. You know, it's all
Yeah.
in good
Oh, yeah.
faith and
they're a good
very
bunch of
tongue in
lads.
cheek kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
humor. Do you know
They're
what
good
I mean?
crack. We've played with them a few times. Good
Yeah.
crack.
I see the one they're Metal to the Masses, like
Yeah.
the heat there.
Yeah. Can you imagine them at Bloodstock? I think that would be.
I want them to win.
Yeah.
I really want them to win because I just think it just sticks it to the knowledge. I mean, it's like turning the knife like 360 degrees, and I just really fucking want them to go out
Can
there.
you imagine like a room full of like 2,000 people who don't know anything about them?
Exactly.
It's like
they're the Donald Trump of thrash, man. The
think-
Donald Trump
I think
of
it would
thrash
be.
metal. Like,
Yeah, if
you
there
know
was
what I mean?
2,000, if there was 2,000 people, 1,000 would leave and 1,000
Yeah.
would stay and would fucking love it.
Yeah. It's that old saying, was it loved by thousands, hated by millions?
Yeah.
I think that was an MOD album.
To be fair though, that's what they say I was reading something the other day where you only really need, it might be more now, but 1,000 real genuine fans to be able to survive. Feel like, you know, if you had, if you think
I
about
could
it,
believe that.
if you had put an album out, you had
could believe
1,000
that.
people buy it.
Yeah. I'll tell you something that's interesting if you said that, because if you look at a lot of the bands which play hard rock hell, you know, like the big ones kind of thing, you go any of their shows, it's always the same people a lot of the time.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. I mean, of course, you can get new people and stuff,
Yeah.
but you can guarantee you could go to one of them shows and you're going to recognize somebody there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess that's just how it works with every band. You've got your core fans and the
Yeah.
diehard ones who will follow you to hell and back.
Yeah. Oh, there was one thing I remember last time. You know, Tech's job is to like remind us if we didn't, we mentioned something, but then we go off a tangent and he goes, hold on a minute, you didn't mention this. One thing we didn't go back to was our terror story, Belgium.
Oh God, yeah, God.
Because it was like best
That
gig,
was
worst
amazing.
gig,
It was like
and
fucking
because that was the
Die Hard with Dino Mar.
it was right when Belgium was on lockdown. I can't remember. Oh, it was November.
Were you not nervous
2015.
going to that?
A
Did you
little-
not feel kind of like, wow, we could be playing a show and get totally gunned down here?
I was only thing that was really bothering me was like not being able to play.
Really?
Just like being stopped at the
like
border.
they can
and go,
blow
"No."
my legs off and
No.
I'm still gonna fucking
Yeah.
play.
It's on
Call me old
lockdown.
Stumpy here.
It's just the fact that I knew it was going to be a really good gig. Like loads of people, the tickets
Yeah.
sold really well, and we were getting paid, and we were
Yeah.
getting put up, and we were getting fed, and we were getting beer, and it was just going to be awesome. And I was
Cool,
just like,
man.
because they stopped the van and like searched the van, and you know, like did the usual.
This is what
inspection.
it is, armed police kind of thing.
Yeah. So
Like,
we were like, well,
fuck, man.
we're just a band. We're not hiding
Yeah.
anything. We've not got any weapons. We all got. If you look in the back, we've got gear.
I
It's just
suppose
us.
with them being on lockdown though, it's like there's guns in those guitars, like, you know, like they could have been like
Well, but they checked, and it was all fine. But yeah, it was a
Yeah.
bit. We were like, because someone further down in the queue did get turned away. I don't know why.
Yeah.
They didn't get arrested or anything, but they just got sent.
Was it a ghost town? Was the place very quiet? Like, I mean, not when you're playing because I assume there was a lot of people.
Oh
there.
yeah, it was rammed, absolutely rammed.
But the streets, were the streets dead? Was the
Not really. It was still.
No.
It was. I think it was like early afternoon when we got there, because we literally set off in the morning, got to Belgium late in the afternoon, played the gig, stayed over, got up, set off at like 7 o'clock in the morning, went home.
man? Was there anybody in the band like freaking out? Was there any members like I'm really unsure about this show because
No.
I feel we may die like and
No,
knock him off the stage?
I think we were all the same. We were all just like, we better get through to play this gig,
Fuck man,
because you don't get many at that point.
Yeah.
You didn't get many opportunities to do something like that.
fuck man.
But
It's
especially
good. Yeah, I
that
think it's
venue.
amazing you did it. You know what I mean? Like
'Cause I-
it's like a massive fuck you to that kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
we're just gonna play regardless of what happens. you
Oh,
know?
I mean, we had a conversation about it. We all said, let's do it.
let's just do it.
Fuck it. See what happens.
Because
You only live once.
exactly.
I'm glad we did do it because it was a fucking awesome
Yeah.
gig. It was really good.
Do you think that whole incident at Bataclan has changed kind of like live gigs? Do you think it's kind of like in everybody's mind now when they go to a
I think it
concert?
is subconscious, whether they know it or not. I think subconsciously you'd think about it. Like maybe more people like check where are the exits when they get there.
Yeah, I do that. I always have done that for different reasons, but yeah, you're absolutely
I
correct.
think they'll be a bit
people,
more conscious. Just, I don't know if it's affected overall attendance. So
yeah, I don't think it will have with attendance, but I think it's made people more wary about things.
yeah, and like the Manchester bombing as well.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It's just.
I knew a few people at that show.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I know. In the crowd, they didn't get blown up or out, but they had to walk past the mess afterwards. I think they went to therapy and shit, you know.
I can't even imagine that.
But no, it just fucking sucks, man.
Especially
It's
if-
always with these things. It's always like innocent people who get blown to bits.
Well, what's even
It's
worse?
people like you know, like these extremists and shit. Like everyone in a regular day life, you just want to get by. You just want to fucking
yeah.
get your paycheck, go home, and relax. And you don't care about what they think and whatever.
No.
And then you know, innocent people are the victims of it.
But these people get like brainwashed by this radicalism. It's like it always reminds me of that famous Lee Evans, and I'll always remember it
Yeah.
when he's on about like, if God's talking to these people, surely he'd tell them to do something good, like decorate your lounge. It was weird, love. God told me to do it. Like,
Sure,
the
right.
serial decorator.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Oh, God,
Sure, right.
surely God, yeah, God talks to fucking nutters like you, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's just like,
Man.
it's such a good point.
But we went to see Guns N' Roses in London. You know,
Which version? The latest one?
yeah, like the
All right, cool.
well, they say reformed. It's like 3 of them.
The stadium.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The Victoria Stadium in London.
Yeah, I would have thought about it then.
Oh man, Rich and I went to that, and we talked about it in the hotel. We both said, if anything's gonna happen, it's gonna happen tonight, because it was such a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
And it was weird, man, because like when we got on the tube, it was like you're in the like fucking Smarties, you know, you're really packed in. And you're like, man, if anything went off in here, you're just gonna be cubed ham going everywhere, you know.
For real.
And then we were walking to the actual place, and we got in. Do you know what? The security was so minimal. There was no armed police,
Right.
no searches, nothing. You just basically walk straight in there. It was so unusual.
I'm
you know,
surprised by that.
It-
Did that make you feel worse or more uncomfortable? That there was no...
I don't know. I don't know.
Would you
'Cause
have
I
felt
s-
safer if there was people checking everyone's bags and it was armed
I think
police
I
presence?
maybe would have done, but it's like I kind of feel like if it's gonna happen, they can't do anything. You can't stop that shit. You know, a lot of terrorism.
They can minimise the risk of it though by
They
doing
can
stuff like
prevent
that.
it.
Like it's kind of
But-
sad, but we were in Edinburgh and the main street, the Royal Mile, they've got these fucking huge like concrete blocks
Bollards,
halfway
stop
up.
yeah.
It's like it's really sad that it's got to that.
Yeah.
They've had to just to stop people driving vehicles into people. It's just like that's the world we
Yeah.
live in now.
I know, man. It's fucked up, and there doesn't seem to be an issue, like a way to kind of solve it either. You know.
So did you feel when you at that stadium gig, was there a different atmosphere then? Did it feel?
I think initially there was.
Because I'm assuming everyone will sort of feel the same.
I think so. But then everybody, once everybody was in, it just became like your typical kind of rock show. You got to drink,
Yeah.
settle down, and
Like you thought, I suppose. People are just thinking, I don't care. Fuck it. I'm here. I've paid my money. If I die, I die.
exactly.
That's
right.
basically what you have to think when you go to
can't
these things now,
You
isn't
can't
it?
do much about
Because
it.
it crosses your mind because it's happened
Yeah.
before. So
Like I went to London the day after that thing with the machetes on the bridge, that
Oh,
chop
yeah.
people up.
yeah,
And there was a really fucking weird atmosphere. I went to London the day after that.
yeah.
And again, I didn't see any armed police. I didn't even see a police officer the whole time I was there.
Mm.
Like, you know what I mean? I was in like the train stations and stuff, completely unguarded. I was like, man, like someone could just walk in here with a fucking assault rifle and gun everybody down. But
Yeah.
I would imagine they have people, but they're like out of sight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
like it's
suppose
all
so.
very much
Yeah.
like under wraps and stuff.
Because I remember I was travelling not long after 9/11, and the year later, I was getting a flight around that time, and they were fuck all. Like
lax. The cockpit door wide open. of the
no,
plane.
I mean the prices.
All right.
It was like it was weird. Like around that time, for some reason, the prices just dropped.
Of flights.
The prices of accommodation and flights and everything, because we were going from like Thailand to Australia, something like that, looking for
I
flights
guess
and
everyone
stuff.
was just trash, man. Everyone was just really scared of flying.
Yeah, it's just that's when it first hit me, like the global impact of something like that is like,
Of course, man.
if this hadn't happened, like the flights would have been like 150 quid more.
Yeah.
Like, just because of those dates, they know that people are either just not going to fly, so they've just got to rock
Yeah.
bottom prices.
Like airports.
I almost felt sorry to interrupt, but I almost felt guilty.
Yeah.
Like I'm profiting from that. You know what I
Right,
mean?
sure.
It's not my fault, but I felt
I
like
know what you mean, man.
weird.
But airports now, man, it's like a fucking interrogation trying to get on a flight. I find you've got so much to do. Do you know what I mean?
Is that not better though?
I suppose stops things happening.
I tried to not.
But I always get stopped, man. I'm always getting searched.
I
Like,
don't
you
know.
I went in the bomb scanner or whatever, and the bloody thing went off, and everyone's looking at me like I'm gonna go up like a bloody Catherine wheel or something.
It's like most
You
things.
know,
I
but-
tried to look for the positives, and like this is happening for a reason. This is happening to make us safer. Should make you feel safer because
Yeah.
everyone has to go through the same thing. Some people get checked, some people don't. But it's more scrutiny now than there ever's been for your own safety.
Do you ever get stopped at these places?
I did when I was traveling a few times, but
Mhm.
just the usual tricks: go through the X-ray thing and empty your bag and all that stuff.
I get
but
my shoes like tapped and shit.
I've never had that.
Never
Oh, they
had
take a
that.
swab out of your shoe to see if you're sweating out cocaine or something.
Right,
You seen
sure.
that on them shows?
Never-
They make custom shows.
Never
Because if
seen
someone's had a lot of drugs,
Mhm.
or if they've got it because people swallow it or they put it up their
Mhm.
ass,
Mhm.
it sweats through the system. So
Wow.
if they swab your shoes, you've sweated it out. That's how they catch them.
You learn
Obviously,
some-
dogs as
You
well.
learn something new every day.
There you go. Dogs will sniff you out, but also if they just suspect, some people just get nervous anyway because they just think, oh my god, I don't want to
Yeah,
get searched. But
mhm.
even if they've got nothing on them,
Yeah, I get like that though. Do you get like that? You get really nervous
Sometimes,
in like situations.
yeah.
I feel my pulse.
but it's
like,
just a mental
jump-
thing.
Jump,
It's like
jump through the roof.
you're not carrying anything. Oh my god, I've just fell for the ultimate sin. My
Oh,
phone is
man.
ringing.
Pick
oh my
it
god.
up. Get them in on the conversation.
Oh my
Hey
God.
man,
And it's ringing through my Bluetooth speaker here as well.
That's
get
why
them
I can
on.
hear it.
Who is it?
Oh, that's why. I did have my phone on silent, but it still rang through your Bluetooth system.
I love it when stuff like this happens, man.
I've turned my speaker off.
Oh my god.
That's it. Slap on the wrist for us.
It's like years ago they had like I just like Venom on like Top of the Pops or whatever it was at the music video, and they put the video on of Nightmare, and over like playing in the background,
Yeah.
it was George Michael's fucking one of his tunes. You know what I mean? Like Careless Whisper. But it was like the fucking Venom video playing. I was like, it actually really works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cronus looks good singing this.
Yeah. Oh, I
So-
interrupted the flow. What were we talking about?
We're talking about terrorism,
Airport security. Oh, yeah.
terrorism
Yeah.
and stuff, and
I don't mind that it's all. It's a bit of an inconvenience, but
mm-hmm.
I do feel it makes me feel a bit more issue that everyone's being checked. And
yeah. Do you think we're over the worst of it though?
I don't
Do
know.
you kind of feel like because these things always seem to happen around summertime?
Yeah.
Like generally, you know.
I was reading that
And like, are we over the worst of it, or is the worst yet to
we
come?
could be,
Or,
but I
like,
read that the next thing,
mm.
because they can't physically get to us
Right.
because of all the prevention that we have, is
Mhm.
cyber attacks.
Oh sure, right.
Just bring down the internet and watch
Yeah.
watch people just go nuts because they haven't got broadband.
Fuck, man.
Because you realise how dependent you've
We live
become
in
on it.
such a fucked up time, man. Like I was.
Without the internet, they wouldn't be able to do that at all. Would be
Yeah.
no, they'd have to physically come and get us.
You see, I was like thinking about this, right? There's this guy at my work, and he was like boasting about this fucking oven he got, and he can like.
How old is this guy?
This is what happens when you get old, ladies and gentlemen. You start talking about ovens. So this guy's like, yeah, my oven, it's like you can turn it on via like Bluetooth and over your phone and shit, you know? I'm like, that's going to be fucking sweet when someone hacks into your fucking oven. Like, it's fucking 300 degrees and burns your fucking house down while you're out, you know?
Yeah, that's it.
It's like,
the more technology you bring into it, the more
exactly.
susceptible you are.
With your lights, your ovens, your fucking boiler. It's like, man, where are we heading to?
We had a similar situation yesterday
Oh, yeah,
at his
but-
house.
Oh yeah, because I got,
He must be getting old as
Do you
well.
have one of these ovens?
No, but he
No.
got excited about his new Hoover.
Yes! What is it? Is it a
He's going-
Dyson?
He's going, look, it's
No, no,
wireless.
yeah,
he was like, he
it's,
actually started hoovering.
Shit, we're getting fucking old. We used to talk about drugs, and now we're talking about Hoovers.
Yeah, this conversation is going down the pan.
I got a new cordless Hoover. It's lightweight. It makes barely any noise. It's fantastic.
Fucking A, man.
That's what it comes to us all, doesn't it?
I think so.
Thing is about the oven though. It's like, oh, I can turn my oven on via Bluetooth. It's like, right, that's great. What happens next? Well, I have to get up and physically put chips in the oven.
Exactly.
Well,
Man,
We are
yeah.
getting lazy, though.
But
So
it's
lazy.
this thing with these cyber attacks, man. Like, what's stopping these people like getting into fucking Sellafield, man? Going
Exactly.
let's
Just
turn
automatic
that reactor
meltdown.
up by and
Or just, turn it off. Turn the
you know,
reactor
we'll
off.
be like bugs on a windshield. We'll just be all
That's some scary shit right
Yeah.
there. But that's going to be the next thing. If they can't physically get
it'll
to
be like
us.
Fallout. Will that truly be a bad thing if life was like Fallout? I think it'd be pretty cool.
like,
In what way?
well, we've been
No, I think
we've been
it's
training for it.
Yeah, we have
yeah.
exactly, man. Exactly.
But, yeah, we are so much more susceptible, but
Mhm.
so reliant on technology these days. Can you imagine, right? Just imagine if when you have a power cut at home now,
What would you do?
what can you do? Other than you get your acoustic guitar out.
Kids are like that though. Kids don't fucking realize how high tech shit is. You know what I mean? Like when I was working, right, and this guy got on the bus, and we somehow got talking about Blockbuster, right?
Right.
You know,
Oh, good
everybody
old days.
remembers what Blockbuster is, right?
There's one still going in Alaska
Is cool. We should
Whoa.
go to
Yeah.
That's- yeah,
and
go on a
rent
trip.
everything at once.
because their internet is shit, so they still go to the store.
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking amazing. But the kid was like looking at him like, "What's a Blockbuster?"
Yeah.
Like he didn't even reference it like a
Yeah.
shop. He's like, "What is a Blockbuster?"
Yeah, he
It's
didn't
like,
even know,
Wow,
yeah.
He doesn't even know what like it is. You know what I mean?
How old do you think the kid was for,
Oh
for him
man,
to
like
that?
maybe like 7 or 8 or something.
Wow. It'd be funny if you said,
No,
"Isn't
like-
that game show from the 1980s?"
yeah, yeah, right.
To be fair though, even someone who's like 15 now probably wouldn't remember.
No, it's
Because
like
when
they don't-
Blockbuster was, they would probably been like 5 or 6 when
Yeah.
when they went down out the window.
It's like you show a kid a video cassette. They're like, man,
Yeah, I've seen a video of
what,
that.
What is this?
They
like,
didn't know where to
like,
put the.
Is it a fucking cup holder? Is it like does like floss come out of it?
Oh, just the concept of a cassette tape. They're like, what?
There's
Or
a videos of
VHS.
these things as
Yeah,
well.
there's videos of them all like looking at them, going, "Where do you put the battery? Where does it
Yeah.
plug in?"
Where do the
You'll never
headphones go?
understand the frustration of getting a fucking rental video out, and it's at the end, and you have to.
Someone
rewind
hasn't
it.
rewound it.
You're like, and some video players like
They used to
ours,
charge you, didn't
you
they?
couldn't fucking rewind the fucker, so like you couldn't play anything.
You used to get charged if you took it back and you hadn't rewound
Is
it. There
that
was a
what the-
charge, like
Oh,
a
man.
50p charge or something, if you
It
didn't
was
rewind
robbing
it.
bastards. I guess that's where that was it. Be Kind Rewind thing came from. You know, the stickers they'd stick them on. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like Be Kind Rewind.
Oh, those days, man. Going with your
Exactly.
brand new girlfriend awkwardly to choose what film to watch in Blockbuster.
Yeah. What was the first film you ever watched
She
with a
picks
girlfriend?
out some rom-com and you're like, yeah, that's fine. And then you go, oh, kill
Yeah,
me
it's
now.
like,
Kill
oh,
me
God.
now.
Can you remember what the first film you ever watched with a girlfriend was? Because I remember what mine was. And I was only 15.
It'll be
You know.
something that I didn't want to watch.
But I was dating this lass. I was like, we'll watch a film. You know what I mean? What do you think I put on? What do you think a girl really wants to watch in a first date?
Total Recall.
We're getting there. Jean-Claude Van Damme's Kickboxer. we watched Kickboxer, right? She was horrified by that fight at the end. She left. I never saw her fucking again. Do you know what I mean? The fucking the Type A deathmatch. I never saw that chick again, man.
Oh
do you know?
my god.
So
you picked it then?
yeah, I was like, we'll fucking watch this. It's a good film.
That was a poor choice then, if she left.
She fucking I never saw her again. Last time
Isn't
ever.
the gentleman supposed to, like, a first date, you try and impress her, let her choose?
Yeah, I'm a dick.
Oh, well, you learned
You-
something else you learned the hard way.
You learn the hard way. I did. I
Yeah.
learned the hard way a lot.
It's
a,
like-
a whole lot, you know.
Depends how long it lasts for. The first, like, yeah, watch whatever you want, love. And
Yeah.
it's like, maybe you should watch this.
But
Then
she
after
never
a few
came
months,
back. You know,
Yeah,
I
and
don't
after
know
a few
if
months,
maybe fucking left town as
I
well.
want to watch this.
That was a long time ago. But do
Well,
you not remember now?
No,
Because
I can't remember.
I can remember all kinds of shit like that, man.
It's weird what you do and don't remember.
Yeah.
Like, you remember some random memory and you think,
Mhm.
why do I even remember this? It's not even
Mhm.
significant. And
Like-
then other stuff, you're really trying to remember, you go, why can't I remember this?
Yeah. Like, do you remember the first film you saw in the cinema?
Yeah, I think it was Back to the Future 2 or 3.
Wow, that's amazing, man. How old are you again?
36.
Man, I always think you're like my age.
So I was only like 9,
Yeah.
8 or 9.
Yeah.
And it was a 12, so I got in. So
Man, cool.
that was one of the first. I don't know if it was the first, but that was one of them
Mhm.
I can remember going to
Yeah.
see.
I think mine was Lion King. I remember
Wow.
see, that was like 3. 'Cause I
Oh, to be
remember,
fair, yeah, probably no,
Yeah.
it probably was some kind of animated
Yeah.
thing when I was about 5 or
Yeah.
6. But that was the first like big blockbuster film I
Yeah.
can remember going and seeing.
I
And,
can
like,
remember
being-
asking like why they turned the lights out. I couldn't understand why it went dark. Because I remember my great aunt and uncle. I was like, why have they turned the fucking lights out? I'm like trying to watch this film. You know what I mean?
Oh god,
Like shit like kids say. You know, like
I love going to the cinema. I
I do
fucking love
too.
it.
I haven't been in such a long time either.
Last Star Wars was the
Really?
last one I went.
I have a really bad confession to make.
You've never seen Star Wars.
No, I've seen Star Wars. I just missed the last movie.
That's fine.
I had no one to go with, man.
Yeah, I missed
You
the
know,
one.
like-
I missed the one before it. I bought it on Blu-ray when it came out. For some reason, I couldn't go
Mhm.
to the cinema when it came
Yeah.
out. Oh, 'cause
That's a really
we
good
have,
film,
We have
though.
a group of mates that always go
Mhm.
every time,
Yeah.
and I couldn't go for that for some reason. But
Mm-hmm.
we went for the last one.
How
It
did
was
you
really
feel
cool.
when Solo died? That's a spoiler, by the way. If anyone hasn't seen that.
Yeah, it took me by
But-
surprise.
Yeah, I was as well. I was like, man, anything can happen now. The gloves are off.
I was just thinking Han
know.
Solo was like, I'll do one more film, but then that's it, so you better as well
Yeah.
kill me.
I was still hoping he isn't dead. Like, he fell down there and somehow survived. I'm like forever the optimist like that, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, anyway, I suggest if you look up, what's his name? Mark Hamill does the best, what's his name?
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford impression ever.
Oh, I've heard it, man. It's
He was
cool.
on Graham Norton.
All right.
He's been doing it a lot. You know, 'cause they do all their interviews where they go on all
Yeah.
the shows. And his
Mhm.
impression of him is Harrison Ford is
Mhm.
absolutely. It sounds if
What
you
were they-
if you shut your eyes,
Yeah.
it sounds just like him.
Really. What were they talking about? Were they talking about anything interesting? Or?
Oh yeah, there was a really good story. Mark Hamill, when they did the second Star Wars, because of the first
Empire,
one.
right?
Yeah, when he got the first one, he got the script,
Mhm.
and he was like, "This is a bit weird, but I'm
Sure.
up for it."
I need a
And
paycheck.
and it was the first one. He was like passing it around to all his friends. Can I have a read of it? Sure, pass it around. Everyone have a read of it. Second one was like, nobody is allowed to read this because you don't know where the
Yeah.
story's going to go. And in the story, came on the page.
Mhm.
It was blank. That
Mm.
scene with his father when he says the famous line,
Yeah,
"I am
right.
your
With
father," and all
Vader,
that stuff.
right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that bit was blank. And
Yeah.
he was like going, "Why is this bit blank?" And then when he got to him, he's going, "I'm going to tell you now.
Mhm.
I know, and the director knows. So when when I
Okay.
tell you, you'll know. And we're the only
Yeah.
three that know. So if
Uh-huh.
anybody else, if it comes out, we'll know that you've told people."
Yeah.
So he had to sign a disclaimer, and it was the fact that line, you're going to die.
Oh,
So then-
man.
When they get to the premiere, when they're all the cast is all together watching the premiere,
Yeah.
that bit comes on, and he leans over. Harrison Ford leans over to him and goes, "Hey kid,
Sure.
you never fucking told me about that."
That's a good impression. I like that. That's good. I'm gonna have to try and watch that interview.
It's really
Wow,
good
that's fucking
because
cool.
he wasn't allowed to tell anybody.
Yeah.
I thought in the script it was written slightly differently, like that.
Yeah,
that
it was.
kind of
It was
section
written
in a
something,
different way.
but
So it didn't give it away.
it was weird. So he had to question, why is this?
Awesome,
why is
man.
this written this way? And he goes, well,
Yeah,
that's when he said,
yeah.
I'm going to tell you now, and then you will know. There's only us three who know. So if
Yeah.
if it gets out, we know that you told someone.
It's like I don't know if I've ever told you this before, but my friend Tom, he shot some of the scenes in like the last Star Wars film, not this new one, but the one before, which was The Force Awakens, right?
No,
Was
Rogue
it-
One. Rogue One.
Oh, the one before that then,
Force Awakens,
So he did
yeah.
some shots with that in the Lake District. He
Oh,
was, like,
right, yeah,
filming
'cause
and
it-
stuff.
Because it was where was it at? Where was it filmed at?
Was it Bass Lake?
Yeah,
Way, or,
something like that. Yeah.
Derwent Water, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But like he's like, I've got something to tell you, but you cannot tell anybody about
Oh my
this.
God! Don't do this.
He's like, I somehow got on the new Star Wars film and I'm going to be shooting these. Well, I went and fucking told everybody. you know what I mean?
So now you'll never tell you
But
anything
like,
ever again.
probably not. But I put it on my fucking Facebook as well. I was like, man, the guy's
Oh,
like, he's on Star Wars. He's going places. He's going to be rich. Or I got this message of he's like, you have to remove that now because I signed a disclaimer with Disney saying,
shit. You
like-
could have cost him the gig.
well, I could have got him killed knowing Disney. Do you know what I mean? Like fucking chopped to pieces. You know what I mean?
Shit.
But he didn't get sued. Nobody died, as far as I'm aware. I haven't seen him in a while, actually. But
That's right. Check him up. Oh, he's deleted me.
oh, damn. The band ended and I got someone killed.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So your new stuff with like Bösen. So have you like got some plans?
Yeah, I mean,
afoot?
the plan is just to, get, we're going to do the album. You know what I mean? Get everything wrote.
Yeah.
Like, because I just need to do my lyrics, vocal melodies, stuff
How
like
are you
that.
finding that? Have you started?
I
doing?
find it really difficult, actually.
Because it's a totally different thing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's like, because I've been so used to doing, like, 4/4 time signatures and stuff.
Not just that,
This
but like
is 7/8 and...
because it's so aggressive. Do you feel like you have to come at it from aggressive lyrical point?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, because it's
'Cause
something that I use.
it's not. It doesn't. That part of it doesn't seem like.
Yeah.
Can that come out of you? That kind of
Like
like
the-
fucked up kind of
the
like.
old me, it was when I did thrash. I
yeah,
was
you did thrash before that, I
I was
suppose.
really angry young man. Do you know? What
Like,
I
have any of these songs got titles already, or have it, has it been completely left to you?
I haven't. There's no titles as such. I've got themes which I'm writing to. Do you know what I mean? Like, but
Cool.
I'm trying not to be typical. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying
Yeah,
to stay
yeah.
away from the war thing and death and hell and
Yeah,
brimstone. I'm trying to stay away from that. I'm trying to make it more kind of
Real.
real life issues. You know what I mean? But then I kind of want to do some tongue-in-cheek kind of stuff as well. You know?
Yeah.
Not too serious. You know.
So are you finding it a bit daunting then?
Yeah, it's a challenge, but that's what I love about it.
That's what you wanted.
Because with Hellion, it was kind of like, I always knew what I was doing. I
Yeah.
felt very comfortable. and
Yeah.
I like that, but with this, it's like black and white. You know
You're
what
out
I
of your
mean?
comfort zone.
It's like I've been thrown in at the deep
But that's a
end.
good thing. I think
And
it's a
I'm
good thing
like-
to be purposely put out of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
Because you find a bit of creativity out there.
I
you
feel
probably
like I'm
didn't know that was
learning
there.
though again.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like I'm actually learning stuff
I
again.
think you can always learn.
Whereas you could, not that I'm saying I was getting stagnant or anything in Hellion Rising, because I'm not. You know.
No,
what
no,
I mean?
no.
But it's nice to, you can approach something differently.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I found, like, seriously, like, I wrote, like, the lyrics to one of the Bösen songs, like, the whole thing. And when I got to the practice, it didn't fucking work.
Well,
It
there
was
you go.
weird because, like, it worked in my head when I wrote, and then I was doing it. I'm like, God, this really doesn't.
So when you wrote it, were you writing it to like a demo, the actual music, or were you just
I just
in your head?
recorded it on my phone. Like,
Okay.
I recorded them playing through it.
Okay,
And then
right.
I sat at home with, I just write, you know, freehand kind of thing, with pen and
I've had that
paper.
before. I've had that before.
Mhm.
Yeah. You just
Yeah.
kind of go back to the drawing board.
Different style, though. Because
But-
Davey was like, Davey would be like, he would record everything, like the tracks,
Yeah.
like himself demos and stuff, and then he'd give you the demos. And sometimes he'd
Yeah.
even have song titles, like in the early,
Yeah, yeah.
the early songs,
Yeah.
like the first EP. A lot of them were all his, like, you know, like song names,
Right.
because he gave them to me, and I just assumed he wanted them to be called that, but they were just like quick names. You know what I mean? They stuck.
Yeah,
That was the funny
yeah.
thing. But would like Bösen, man, it's really exciting, man.
Yeah.
I love being able to just kind of, like I said this a few times now, but it's like I'm just spreading my wings again.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, dusting off the dust and the cobwebs and whatever, and
Yeah.
like it's good.
It's like
man,
a different,
to be
it's a
artistic.
different challenge, isn't it?
Because I love writing, like I write poetry and stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So yeah,
But
it's just trial and error as well, isn't it? Because it's a new thing.
I
See
want to
what
do other
works.
things as well, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I can't I can't really talk about it too much 'cause it's all in the wraps, but I'm like helping to write a musical right now
Oh, cool.
that came out like no way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Cool.
it was like, do you want to help write this musical? You know, and I was like, shit, like, can I do this? Is this?
Only one way to find out.
Yeah, man. Because like when I started singing, it was very Lloyd Webber kind of shit, you know.
Yeah.
I'd done like a few productions, you know, theatre productions and plays and stuff and musicals, and I always wanted to be on the theatre and then on the stage, but then I found rock and roll and everything changed, man.
There you go.
Do you know, you know what I mean? I was just like, saw like Megadeth and stuff. I'm like, man, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, back when you're fucking 12 or whatever.
I was listening to, I can't remember who it was now. Someone was saying about that they just don't buy CDs anymore. And
Right.
I realised that neither do I. I mean,
Really?
the whole
Wow.
Spotify business model of just downloading is just so much more convenient.
It is more convenient.
There's been a couple where I've only bought the CD just to support the band, and they're not even independent bands, like big bands. Like I'm about to do it now. The new Marmosette's album came out on Friday, and I fucking love it.
Great band.
Yeah, and I'm gonna buy the CD. I will never I'll never get it out of its packet.
Really?
Never.
Wow.
I just don't. CDs, I just don't. Even in the car, it's on my phone. My Bluetooth just hooks up to my phone. I've already got it on my phone.
I feel like a dinosaur
play.
now.
But I'll still buy the CD because I know that's the
To
best way
support the
to support the band.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got I've got a T-shirt. Do you know what I mean?
Legit, man. I still listen. That's my go-to. Listen to
I used
music.
to, but it just got to a point where convenience-wise, I just I had them all in my loft one day, and I was just thinking, I cannot be asked.
Yeah.
I've got it all on Spotify. It's all there. All my favourite artists are on
Yeah.
Spotify now.
You're switched on. You're smart though. You know what I mean? I'm just
I
like,
wouldn't go that far.
you know.
It's just about convenience. Like, I do like the physical product, and I always will. I'll always prefer it. But just the way, I don't know. Like, I've only got one CD player in the house. It's in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And even then, that's got Bluetooth in it. So
how do you know, like Spotify? Do you listen to it for like a wireless speaker or something? Or?
Well, in my car, that's got Bluetooth in my car. Those speakers are great. And at home, I've got like a stereo system that's got Bluetooth in it.
Fucking cool, man.
A cool one. And
Good shit.
and I've got in the other room, I've got a what do you call it? Sonos wireless speaker that connects to your Wi-Fi. And then it connects to your phone. It's a really good quality.
Do you not listen to vinyl or you not got record or anything?
I do have some, but I never. And I do appreciate vinyl.
Yeah.
I know that sound quality.
I think you can't beat vinyl. Like even now, I think it's just so magical watching that needle hit.
Yeah.
And it's like how is this producing sound?
I listened to the remastered Master of Puppets on vinyl.
Oh, how's that sound?
Oh my god.
Really good.
Especially when you've got a good system to put it through. It's just like, this is just like you can't recreate that. You can't, and you can't even put digital version onto vinyl.
No,
it has to be
analog.
It had to be analog, transcribed that way onto the disc, which that's the only way you can hear it. There's no recreating it. There's no alternative. It's just which is why I think vinyl's never gone away because you can't replicate that, and it's actually coming back bigger now than ever. And
it seems to be.
I can understand why.
Like you go in it. The only thing I don't like about it now, I think the price tag's ridiculous.
I don't know what they are. I don't know what.
20 quid, up 25, 30.
If it gets more popular, it'll come down, I suppose.
Because I'm a big Dawes fan, you know, like Jim Morrison and that. And I've got all the albums on CD, you know. I thought, you know, I'd like to get this stuff on vinyl, and I went to buy the LA Woman album, like the final album with Jim. It was 50 quid.
Whoa.
For a record, you know what I mean? The only thing special was it was on a white disc, you know. I'm like, 50 quid, man, like what? I got a CD for like fucking $5 or something, you know?
Yeah. And that's a lot of the bad thing is a lot of them do just put the digital version onto vinyl and think that's all you need to do, but it doesn't
you
work.
want the original takes.
Yeah.
The original takes.
But that's the world we live in these days, I suppose. But I do like vinyl. I do. I have a record player and I've got a few, but I need to add to the collection. But CDs is just one of those things where...
That's still my main go-to.
It is for a lot of people. But do you think it will die out eventually? Do you think digital will kill it?
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
I don't think...
I think with everything it will. I think it's...
You buy cars now without a CD player.
Exactly.
That's a sign that the way it's going to go. Because if cars stop having CD players, when else will people listen to it? Because they're kind of forced to listen to it. If there's a CD player, they'll buy some CDs. But if you haven't, then...
I think it's happening. But I think what's happened is the industry have been very surprised how long it's taken. Because I think the industry, it'll be like... VHS to DVD, it killed it overnight.
Yeah.
Whereas it hasn't been like that this time because if you look at like
the jump from... Because a lot of people like you who...
Exactly. Like DVD to Blu-ray, right?
Yeah, I've made that jump.
I've never made that jump.
I can't go back to DVD. I can't.
Really,
can't do
I
it.
couldn't tell you the difference.
For me,
you
it's
know what I
like
mean?
the first time I ever went from
Mhm.
my first DVD. I couldn't go back to VHS,
Really.
and that's 720. Like what DVDs are now, when you
720.
go to 1080p,
It's like-
I can't go back. I just can't.
Man,
It's just my DVD collection just
Really, man.
gone. So when a new
couldn't-
release, it's like
Mhm.
supermarkets. There's like
Mhm.
slowly introduce Blu-ray, and now
Yeah.
now Blu-ray is the main thing.
Mhm.
Plus you get all the better extras on Blu-ray because they've got more
Yeah.
space on.
Yeah, true. I should maybe make the jump. By the time I do, it'll be something.
Have you
else.
watched a Blu-ray?
Yeah, I didn't really see the deal. So it's like what my friend said. Like, you know, my friend Tom, like, he wears glasses. He's got terrible vision, you know. And HD had just come out, and I think I had an Xbox 360, and like I'm
Yeah.
like showing him, like, man, like look at the graphics, and he's like, man, I'm blind. All TV looks like shit to me. You know what I mean?
So it's
I was
lost
just
on
like-
him.
it's like,
Completely lost on
he's
him.
like SD, HD, it makes no difference. All TV looks terrible.
Oh well.
But yeah, but like we were saying before, like, you know, like DVD to Blu-ray, like that transition, you can still buy DVD. I think it's like that worldwide now. People just aren't as
It's going like that though.
slowly.
I can see
Slowly.
the DVD section, the Blu-ray sections are getting bigger, and the
Yeah.
DVD is getting smaller.
Do you remember what it was like with video though? The video was like gone. It was like there one day, and the next day it's like it didn't exist.
Yeah,
it was like
it was-
videotape. What's that?
Yeah, and you used to get the fight for, especially on CDs, the fight for the end. There's a special term for it. If your album got displayed on the end of an aisle rather than along the aisle, that
Did
was
they
the
used-
coveted
did they actually
position
used to
for
do that?
videos and for CDs.
Yeah.
You used to have to pay, like record companies would pay extra money for certain
To have them
artists
as you
to-
walk
on the
in
end,
the
so you
shop.
could see it as soon as you go in.
Wow, you'd never get that now, would you?
No.
They'd be like
You don't get the
HMV
shops.
paying them to like, you know, like.
I don't think will HMV be gone soon.
Do you think it'll
It
like?
might just go online.
I don't know. I think for now, they're healthy enough to kind of keep going for a little bit, but it will come to an end eventually.
Like
It
when
can't-
15, 16-year-olds now get about 5-10 years later, when they're like when they get to sort of our age,
I mean,
will they? Because they won't even know.
this I maybe said this last time I was on, but I can always remember being in HMV.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
Was this about Christmas time? Should I say it again?
You can say it again. It's fine.
So it was like something like there was this kid and they picked up a CD. It was like now 500 or whatever, you know. There's been 1,000 of them, and they picked it up and they're looking, oh, it's got bloody, I don't know, pop stars name, Milli Vanilli and Vanilla Ice and Salt and Pepper on it and shit. I don't know these current pop
The
stars.
latest
names.
artists, anyway.
Yeah, fucking Boys to Men. I don't know.
Beyonce or whatever.
Right, sure. It's just like, you know, Dad, can you buy this for me, or Mom or whatever? And then you know, the mom turned to the dad. It's like, oh no, your dad can just download it for free,
Yeah,
put it back on the shelf. I was
that's it.
like,
So those kids are going to grow up thinking that.
music's free.
Yep.
That's,
And
the terrible
That is
thing.
part of it.
You know,
And as we discussed last time, the only
Mhm.
way any money's going to come back into it is if artists get more for the streams. If that becomes a
Mhm.
more viable.
I just can't see it
income.
happening now because they've got away with it for so long. You know,
I know.
It's like I don't know, but like I wonder if this is a lot of the reason why a lot of these bands are starting to retire now. Do you know what I mean? That they just
Yeah.
can't, like, obviously Slayer. Lynyrd
Yeah,
Skynyrd,
that was Slayer.
out of the
retiring.
blue
Yeah.
with them. I can understand the reasonings behind it.
Have they said specifically what the reasons are? Have they?
No, but I think it'll be to do with. I know Ray has always said that he didn't want to become like this Judas Priest kind of band where you're like 105 coming out and you fucking, you know, you Zimmer frame and whatever. And
Well, it's like we talked about last time about Lemmy. That time when Lemmy came out and he shouldn't have, when he had to say I can't do it anymore.
was
and he
it
just
Dusseldorf?
somebody was helping him off the stage,
in Germany.
and it wasn't Lemmy. It was a frail old man. And
Yeah,
I didn't want to see.
heartbreaking, man.
Want to see that.
Heartbreaking.
Don't want to see. You want to like AC/DC as well.
I still forget he's dead.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the weird
just,
thing.
like,
I'll be,
immortal.
like, talking about him.
Mm.
You know, it's like, oh, yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
Like, wow, like what? Such a massive kind of life force. You know, such a presence and persona.
Never
It's kind of lived on. You know,
complete one-off.
he's kind of almost to me. He's in that kind of like wrestling character kind of phase. He had such a great character and
He
gimmick.
was so
it's
much of a
like-
character.
you
He was
can't
almost
kill
like a
that.
caricature of himself.
Yeah,
Especially
it's like,
towards the end.
and like,
Like those statues that you see of him, the figures of him,
Mm.
and like just a drawing of him. All it is the hat, the beard, and like the skinny sort of frame.
do you know what I
It's
think
just
it is
Lemmy.
though? Like why myself, I don't feel like he's dead because I didn't know him personally. I'd imagine because
Yeah.
I still think of that character. You know,
Just
what I mean?
ever present.
Whereas
And it still
if you,
feels like that even
sure,
though he's gone.
Right, sure, right. But if you knew him personally, you'd be like, oh man, like Lem's dead. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you knew that guy and you drank with him and you hung out. But
Because Motorhead, music-wise, hadn't put out much. Most of their stuff obviously was better back in the day.
Previous.
But it was just him as a character
Yeah.
was just so influential in everything that he did.
Yeah, I love the way they just stuck to their guns. You know,
Yeah.
they were like, this is us. We're not going to fuck the fans around. We're just going to beat us till the end. And that's what they did.
Same with AC/DC, really.
Do you know what I mean?
Just
I think you've
and
got
Slayer.
yeah, right?
They know.
They're kind of like a modern day Ramones, really.
Yeah,
I
they
think.
just
Through
well,
them grunge kind
a
of
lot of those
maybe
bands were like they sort of invented that kind of whatever. Like AC/DC kind of invented that, so they have a right to just do that forever if they want to.
Do you think they should have ended after Hanneman died? A lot of people are like, is it even Slayer now? You know,
What albums have come out since then? How many albums did you say?
Repentless. Was it just Repentless came out?
What year did he die? It was about.
Was that album called Repentless, or was the song just called Repentless?
The album was called Repentless.
It was.
Yeah, and the song was
I
called
really liked
Repentless.
that album though, man. It was better than World Painted Blood, and I thought that was an okay album.
So they haven't since he died. They haven't put out
On record,
much that was of any influence, or
you know.
so you could argue maybe they should have, but or
It's
should-
Slayer, man.
or would those guys have
Yeah.
been better off starting something else with a new name that didn't have that same
Yeah.
stigma attached to it? Because they're never gonna. It's like any band with a key member not there carrying on.
Like the Doors tried it, man, without Jim Morrison. How do you even do that, man? The Doors without Jim Morrison. It's like, what the fuck? Have you heard them albums as well?
No,
Yeah, dude, they just don't make any sense. It's like, man, like
should
what?
never be heard.
Yeah,
But
but that's like Queen without Freddie, and they went and fucking did it.
that is probably the one example where it's been
It's
alright.
Yeah, it's all worked.
Uh,
I think it's because they didn't just go out and say, we are Queen, it's Queen, and
who was saying?
Paul.
I
Paul
think, yeah, I saw an
Rodgers,
interview
right?
with James Hetfield where he was saying they went when Queen came with Paul Rodgers came to California and they went to see him, and he said it was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Really?
He said he was pleasantly surprised because he hadn't seen much, he hadn't watched anything, he didn't know what to
Yeah.
expect, and he was just like, it's amazing.
I would love to have seen Queen.
I know. It's one of those.
My dad like saw him twice, and he always
Wow.
rubs it in and gloats. My dad's like the real life Randy Marsh, man.
Yeah.
From South Park. He just totally is like.
I suppose one of those conclusions that I guess we've come to from last time you were here and this time is like, just go and see a band when you get the chance, because it may be the last time.
You have to do this. You have to take
It
life
might
by
cost
the
you an arm and a
balls
leg,
and-
but it may be the last time. But at the same time, still go check out the latest
Exactly.
upcoming bands. Do
Like-
both. Do both. Don't pick one or the other.
It's like I never saw Typo Negative.
No,
You
me
know, I'm
neither.
a massive Typo
Yeah.
Negative on Peter Steele.
Yeah, Pete
and he
Steele.
died. And it's like,
Yeah.
I am never going to see that.
Did you
There is
pass
no-
up the opportunity to?
Yeah, of course, sure.
Yeah.
Loads of time. Well, you just take shit for granted. It's like, oh, they'll be back next
I'll
year.
see them next time. That's
Like
the
that
classic line,
Ramones
isn't it?
thing. It's like, oh man, I've got man flu or whatever. I've got to, I feel like shit. Oh, I'm in work tomorrow. Just go, fucking
Yeah.
run out there and go, man.
Especially like with Slayer ending, that kind of made me think like all these older bands. There aren't many left.
No,
Not of
They're
that.
not-
Not of that level.
of that caliber,
Yeah.
of that time, of that flourishing era in music when you could make a living off it and make ridiculous money.
Not just in metal, just any genre of any huge artist who's like at the forefront of when it first came about. Just go, because like I
Course,
keep
man.
saying, I don't know how many times we've said it so far. Life is short.
Exactly. Did they ever tell you about the time I saw Evil with the original bass player? Was it
Don't think so.
Mike Alexander? Was he the original bass player, like the big, tall, like African looking?
No, I don't think so.
I went to see Megadeth at the Newcastle O2 Academy when I was about 15, and Evil was their first tour, their breakout tour, and they were opening for Megadeth, and it was Job for a Cowboy, who I really don't like, and I saw 1,000 times by accident. Every time I think I was seeing them, they were always there. But anyways, going back to Evil, before we went in, I got hungry. I'm like, I need something to fucking eat, you know what I mean? So I went over to Burger King, you know what I mean? And I go in there and I'm like, I'll have whatever they're doing, fucking Royale with cheese or whatever it was. And there's this guy like stood next to me, this striking looking guy, like African looking dude. He's just really I didn't really think too much of it. I was like, that's a really striking looking guy, you know what I mean? Like, you don't forget somebody like that. He kind of just smiled at me and walked off. So anyways, I got to the academy about an hour later. Evil come out, and this African guy was the bass player of Evil. I'm like, whoa, like I just like ate with you. I ordered a shake, and you're like right next to me, man. Because I was that kind of kid. I was just a fucking dickhead, you know what I mean? And played a great set, blinding show. I went and bought their album straight afterwards. I'm like, this is cool. Enter the Grave, I think it was called, and he died like 6 months after that.
Shit.
They went out on tour, and he had a a blood clot in his leg from sitting down. Like, just sitting down, you know, he didn't get shot, he didn't get run over or anything major. He had a blood clot, went to his lung, killed him.
Jesus.
And it was like, God, that guy was only like 25 or something.
Fucking hell.
I mean, I'm older than that now, and I'm
Yeah.
like, man, like, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Are you 27, did you say?
I'm 27.
Oh, you're at that key age. Don't die.
Oh, God.
All the greats died at 27.
Well, if it happens, you got this on tape, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like, fucking, you can look back and
I
go,
love you
"Man,
all."
he's like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
But yeah, I'm a massive Jim Morrison fan, and he was 27 when he died, and it's a weird thing that, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Because he's still young. He's still very young, you know.
Kurt Cobain.
Was Cobain 27?
Yep.
Was she 27
Amy
as well?
Winehouse. Yep.
What
Jim
is
Morrison.
the deal? Is that just like the...
Jimi Hendrix.
What is it? What do you think it is?
It's
Is
weird.
it something?
People keep getting added to the list.
Damn. Shit, that's just fucked up, isn't
When are you
it?
28?
Like December 30th.
Shit.
We can do this
It's
next
gonna be
year
a long year.
if I'm still alive.
Yeah, we'll
right?
book you. We'll book you next year.
Yeah,
See if
right,
you're still
like-
here.
Touch wood.
Well, you've got these 2 episodes as your legacy,
Cool, man.
and all your Hellion Rising stuff. I
Fucking
suppose.
badass. Fucking badass.
Plenty
But
of life
yeah,
left
like-
in the old dog.
I don't know about you, man, but like, did you ever have someone really close to you, like a friend who died really young, and you saw somebody die in a really horrific way? Because I've had that twice now. I had a friend who died really young, and then I saw this woman die in a pretty bad car accident.
I've had 2. One was at school who died, but I didn't know that well.
Yeah.
But it was still like the whole school was just like, whoa. Who I'd spoken to and played football with them
Yeah.
sometimes.
Sure.
And then one kid got paralysed by. This was in the late 90s when mobile phones first came out.
Mhm.
Got hit by someone who was on their phone.
in the car.
Yep, texting first came out.
This is before it
before
was
it-
even illegal.
before it was
right?
illegal.
It was cool to do that, right?
He got hit
Right.
and paralysed
Shit.
from like, I think it was from the
So is
neck
he
down.
still like that now?
I've lost touch, to be honest.
No
but
idea. Mhm.
never forget that. But,
But
yeah,
yeah. It was like this kid I knew. You know, we hung out like down the skate park and stuff, and we would drink and take drugs. You know, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Everybody did that. Shit
Yeah.
happens when you hang
Yeah.
out. And we would have fun. You know, it was cool. We had a good time. We would go to the clubs and stuff. And I was in a band called Son of Island. This kid was called Mikey, and Mikey was kind of like this Chava-looking guy, and he had his Burberry cap, but he was an amazing guitar player. You know, he could shred. You know what I mean? He was a really good player, and he would kind of like I suppose roadie for us. You know, he'd like load the gear in and out, and he did all kinds of stuff. He traveled the world. He went to Thailand. You know, this guy was in peak condition physically. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? He was cut, man. You know what I mean? He had his way with the ladies as well, and the ladies all liked him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really good kid, wholesome character, good guy, and it was literally like he went to bed one night and he never woke up. He died in his sleep, and I was about 21 when that happened, 20,
shit.
and it was a real eye opener. It was like, man, like
Could happen to anyone.
it was like shit, like that guy had his whole life ahead of him, and then for whatever reason, it was
For
just
no
like-
reason.
It was no reason. There was, and the thing is as well, all these doctors and all these people. Everybody speculated. There was all this speculation. There's some people like, "Oh, was it this? Was he doing that?" Nothing. There was nothing wrong. There was
happens,
no
it happens.
substance. He was just a regular
Clean,
thing.
living clean, healthy, young,
The
fit.
autopsy, it was just from
Natural
what I know
causes.
about it. They were like, "We can't explain it. It's just like one of these things, you know."
They'd have to put that down as natural causes.
And that's why I think you got to seize the moment. You know,
Exactly.
Like if you're a musician or you wanna travel the world or whatever,
Or
if you got
sport
some
or whatever it
dream
is.
or whatever, you just fucking go for it, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think a lot of people don't think that they can do anything. Like
Mhm.
they think, I've just got to get a job and pays bills, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much life. Or I like to
Mhm.
play video games. and
That's what
pretty much it.
media teaches you to do. That's what the government want you to do. They want to
Yeah.
push you through the funnel and turn the meat grinder on yourself. And
Yeah, so it's like those career advisors who ruin people's lives by telling them, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that.
What was it?
Fuck you.
You know, like the career advisor at your school. What did he tell you to do, or what did she tell you to do? Do you remember?
Do you know, I don't even remember.
Do you know what I got?
I don't think I
told?
paid any attention, to be honest.
Really? Do you know what I got told to do? Pest control.
Why?
Yeah, no shit. He's like, you'd be great at catching rats.
What does
like,
that
what?
even mean?
Do I walk on like 4 fucking legs and have like big fucking sharp teeth?
Shit.
But seriously, the guy was like, I think pest control would be a great career for you.
You're like,
You-
is that even a career?
It's like, what? Like, God, like, I'm no scholar, but like, man, I think I can do better than that.
Yeah.
You
But I
know?
think
they
people-
ended up tossing salads. So
You became a tosser in the end anyway, so.
I'm a total complete wanker. a bitter queen, as it were.
But I do think people get stuck into a sort of routine and they don't think there's any way out or any alternative.
Yeah.
But it's like, why? Why not try? I think people should aspire to at least be doing something that they enjoy.
What are your goals in life now at this point?
To be happy.
You're exactly the same as me.
To be happy. And I think
that comes above all.
but it's not an easy thing to learn how to be happy.
No. Are
'Cause
you happy now?
I'm very happy. I
You
don't
seem
think
very
I don't think I've
happy.
ever been as happy.
I know. I can tell that just like looking at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, man? You know.
I think because like last time with the band, it is a strain. It is an effort. It's always
tiring.
something that weighs
It's
on your
very
shoulders
tiring
in
as
terms
well.
of like
Mm-hmm.
part of the reason we all said was like family stuff, like having to miss family stuff all the time
It happens a lot.
for something that's not paying your bills.
Mm.
So like people can start, even friends can start resenting you for to the point where they stop inviting you to stuff because you're always
Yeah.
away doing this thing. Do you know what I mean? And I can understand that.
I think as well as a musician, like you try not to be, but you can be quite selfish. You know what I mean? In a sense, you know what I mean. That
You
you're
kind of
all-
have to be.
You ditch people's birthdays. You miss weddings.
Yep.
Like I remember
Weddings,
there
yeah.
was like this one wedding where I had to leave halfway through basically because I had to go and do a show.
I can beat that.
But
But
then
I'll
I
tell you in a minute.
Really, yeah. So I had to go and do the show. But then I went to Alton Towers. It was pretty fucking good.
Maybe you win that one
And
actually.
it was like, oh man, like I'm totally loving the Smiler, but I'm missing this guy's wedding. You know what I mean?
Smiler.
I think the people are just, I'm not laughing at the people losing their legs or anything, but that was a really fucking cool ride, man.
Yeah, I've been on it. Yeah.
What did
It was
you think?
Fucking cool. I loved it.
Did
just
you
took one look
did
at
you
it.
worry out though? Were you like on it and go, man, like I could get totally minced up on this thing?
It did cross my mind, but like we were saying, I was like, fuck it.
Yeah,
I'm going to go on it and I'm going to enjoy it.
yeah. We took our friend on it who'd never been on a roller coaster before on this thing, and it was like he was in shell shock when it got off. He was like in the chair.
You ever find that sometimes with a group of people, and some of the people who go on the rides with you are like absolutely terrified, and you're like,
Yeah.
why did you go on it? Like,
Yeah,
it turns out you don't
Yeah.
like things like, why the fuck did you go on it?
exactly.
You queued for like an hour to get on this ride that you knew you were going to be terrified of.
Who took you on your first ride? Did you go on it yourself or were you forced on a ride?
I think it was just with family.
Really?
Just like,
You weren't
just like-
forced on a ride then?
no, I don't think
Because
so.
my dad like forced me onto rides.
think
I was
so.
like, I was like maybe 6, 7. maybe.
Right, yeah.
And I loved Metroland,
Oh.
I'd go on the Metroland coaster.
This is a, if anyone doesn't know, this is like a, I suppose the Metro Centre is like a huge shopping centre, isn't it?
Yeah.
And on the back of it was Metroland, where
Mhm.
adults took their kids and just
Sure,
let,
right.
let them free, and you just like all these ropes and slides
Exactly.
and shit. It was the best thing ever, wasn't
If
it?
you wanted to go on rides and have fights with other kids, it was
Oh,
the
yeah,
place to go.
yeah. Big ball pools, I remember
Yeah,
them.
you could
Oh,
like
God.
bury other kids in the ball pool.
Yeah.
and-
No one would see.
Exactly.
I always saw like fights, someone elbow someone in the face, and there was no
That'd be-
adults around to see it.
That'd be Alex and I, man. We were always doing shit
Yeah, they're
like
probably brothers.
throwing
yeah.
them down the slides head first. It
Here's
was
your
an
shoe.
accident, I swear.
Your big brother. Here's your shoe. Fucking go and get it.
Weird. It wasn't Montezuma's where we would do this, but there was another place called Rob's, which was like a garden centre, and
Yeah.
they had a place like Montezuma's, which was this big jungle gym for kids.
Yeah.
What I would do is I'd run off and I'd shine these kids on and say horrible things to them, and they would run after me, and Alex would be waiting around the corner for them. He'd just go, lay them out, and we did this to hundreds of kids. I'm gonna go to hell for this someday. It was funny at the time, but you learn the errors of your ways, and I did pay for it with karma. I believe in that, and I did
Yep.
pay for it. But going back to these rides, I loved Metroland. I loved the roller coaster there because it went around
Yeah.
twice. And
Oh,
it didn't
yeah.
really do
Is that
anything.
the one that used to like sort of go around the hole, and you could look down and see
Sure,
the people?
right.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
that, but
it
it
was
was
cool.
It was tame. It was,
It was
relatively
very tame.
But I loved that ride. So, anyways, when I'm 7, Dad's like, "We're going to Alton Towers." The real life Randy Marsh. So we go to Alton Towers, man, and they've got the biggest roller coasters you've ever seen. And like, there's Nemesis. Do you remember that? ride,
Yeah.
Nemesis?
Oh,
that
yes.
just came out, had the theme and with the blood fountains
Yeah.
and stuff, and the story that's this creature which came out the rocks. And when you're 7, you'll believe anything. So I was like, it's gonna come out the rocks at any second now. So I'm like standing looking at this ride, and my dad was like, "We're going on this ride."
You must have been right on the threshold of the.
I
height
just
thing.
made it on the coast.
Yeah.
Just on it. And I'm like, I really don't want to do this, Dad. Like, I'm really frightened. I don't want to do this. He's like, you're going to be a man. Today is the day you become a man. I was
I
like,
bet your brother was going, "Fucking get on it."
don't be a chicken shit.
Yeah.
And I remember I was wearing like an orange 90s shell suit. I get the picture. And Alex was wearing a matching green one. How rock and roll is that?
I need a picture of this.
I'll find it. And my dad like drags me on this ride, man. I'm getting buckled in. I'm crying. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I really don't. I cried the whole way around this thing.
Oh my god.
But I have loved roller coasters
Ever
ever
since,
since.
yeah.
And it was the most horrifying kind of experience, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I love them kind of. I don't know why, but I love rides.
I love them. If you
You
can
know.
dig that photo out, we'll put it in the show notes.
I'll find it. It's me and him in these matching like shell suits, man. You know, mine was this horrible orange one with stripes, and his was
Brilliant.
lime green. Oh, 90s.
Did you have what was your relationship with your brother like when you were growing up?
Fantastic.
He was always like protective.
Yeah, it was like Sean Penn and Chris Penn.
What's
It
the
was
age?
like
What's the age difference?
11 months.
Oh, no.
I shouldn't even be here in theory.
Is he? Oh,
I'm
he's-
here on a whim.
He's 11 months older than you.
He's 11 months older than me.
Okay.
So you can kind of figure out what happened there, you know. This is what I was saying. I'm here, like by chance. You know what I mean? I shouldn't really be here, but I'm here. You know, like, you know.
We only planned for one.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I don't even know how to put it. You know what I mean? But like, I'm here, and I'm just very grateful to be.
So it
here.
was like have you got any story? Did he at school like used to like either they go one way, pick on you at school, embarrass you, or like protect you, look after you?
It's kind of the other way around as kids. He was terrified of me.
He was terrified of
He
you.
was terrified because I had a terrible temper, you know. And I
right.
like beat him up.
He was a bit more laid back than you.
Yeah, like, this is gonna sound odd. I'm not even like fucking saying this, but my nana's like disabled, you know.
Right.
We go away with my nana, and she'd be in the wheelchair or whatever, on her crutches, and my nana and my grandma would be like, "Go and help," you know, like put the wheelchair with her. No, I'm not doing it. I'd fuck off and go and do my own thing. And Alex would always really help. And he was terrified of me. I'd like beat him up and shit. You know what I mean? And I can remember like I'd hit him or something, you know. And my nana just turned to Alex and like, "Why are you scared of him? You're like 2 times the size of him." And it just like a light bulb went on in his head. And I was like,
yeah.
I paid for it every day after that for a good while. I got my head kicked in, you know.
Oh well.
And then when we were about 15, 16, we had our own equivalent of the Good Friday Agreement, where we had this monster of a fight on my bunk bed. I was still at a bunk bed when I was 15. It was the last days of that. I got my head kicked in, as usual. But it was just starting to hurt, and there was bigger fish to fry because we didn't get on with our parents at that point. It's like, let's concentrate our efforts on them. We can team up together now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And eventually, when you were older, you lived with your brother for a
I
while.
lived with him 3 times, man.
What was that like?
Well,
Good and bad?
We don't get on. Well, the last time we got on great. I lived with him the last
Now that
time.
you're fully grown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the first time, like, he lived in this hovel above a bar, and it was just an absolute shit tip. It was like, Stig of the Dump, you know what I mean? It was just like trash everywhere, no dishes got cleaned, you get botulism by touching the work surface.
Oh.
And my bedroom was a mattress in a hallway with a big bay window above the bar. So when I was sleeping, everyone could see what I was doing, basically. So, like, if I, like, tilted my head like this, I could look out into the street and there'd be people like, "Look at that idiot, what a bum." You know, like, he doesn't even have a curtain, man.
Wow.
And I can always remember at them points, I had no fucking money. I was like, I had this Fiat Sequento, you know, one of them cars from the in-betweeners. I had no, all my money went to that car. I was literally eating, like, corned beef out of cans, man, because I had no money, you know. But I lasted there about a month, and then I was going to die. I was going to catch something, you know what I mean? I was sick. I had dysentery, you know. I was like, I had to go home.
Wow.
But it was, you know, like, the final time, or like the last time we lived together, like Alex at the house now. It's great.
Yeah.
You know
Cool.
what I mean?
I don't think brothers are meant to get on when you're younger, are you?
Yeah.
I think it's like
I think
it's pretty commonplace.
Yeah, we got on really well, but we'd just fight all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would goad him into fights and stuff. I'd always get him in trouble.
It was him. He's
Yeah,
started
I
it.
would. Like when he got older, you know, and he could kick the shit out of me, like I would. I'm just gonna say it. You know, I was pretty fucking sadistic. He would come in, right, and he's always been a TV addict. You know, Al the TV addict we call him, and he'd be watching Grange Hill or Biker Girl. He loved fucking all this shite on TV. You know, I liked watching porn at that age. You know what I mean? But he liked Biker Grove and be watching it. I could see he'd get really into it, and I'd wait till he was really into it. And, you know, like them coffee coasters which are made out of like porcelain. I'd wait, and I'd see his toes like hanging over the edge of the fucking like yeah, and I would hit him as hard as I could, as I can, over like the fucking his feet, over like where your toes like go over. You'd be in so much pain, but I'd get my ass kicked. I'd get fucking F5'd onto the fucking coffee
So
table.
you're asking for it. You're asking for it.
I was a little shit man. I was a fucking dickhead. I changed. You know what I mean? Shit happened and I changed, but I would always I'd get my ass kicked, and then I would cry for mom, and she would come in and just grab our heads and just go
Bang.
and
There you go.
smash our heads together.
It's made you the man you are today.
So, yeah, I'm completely different. Seriously, man, you think life changes you?
Your experiences make you who you are.
Exactly. I'm just calm now. I'm just really placid about stuff, and I'm just grateful
I think
to
you
be
could,
doing anything. Do you know?
go through
Like-
some
like-
mental shit, some crazy times, and you just look back and you go, I'm just glad to still be here.
Exactly. You know what I
And
mean?
you kind of, you
And-
learn from these things, don't you?
And you look back on things which used to bother you at one point, and then you're like, man, I wouldn't even be phased by that now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
Or
just
something that seems so huge at the time,
Like
some
a
sort of
big-
life
like a big,
moment, and you think, I
like a
can't.
bigger deal.
And you think, how am I going to get past this? Or how I can't see a time when this
Mhm.
isn't here. And then years
Mhm.
later, you look back and you go,
Yeah. It was like
Well,
when
it happened.
the first band kind of broke up. I was like fucking depressed.
yeah.
I was like so like,
Oh, your first relationship that ends
I wasn't bothered about
at
that
the
one.
time. Well, for people, that's
Yeah,
a
I know,
big
I
thing.
know what you mean.
You
I know
just
what you
think,
mean.
oh my god, especially
It's
like
my
you know,
life
like young
is
love,
over.
teenagers.
My swan song. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People always say the same thing. Oh, there'll be others, you'll get over it. You're like, at the time, it's like, no, I won't. I won't. I'll never get over it. You always do.
Yeah. I can't remember what I did after the first girl I kind of broke up with. I don't know. I felt pretty good about it. I remember that. 'Cause it
Well,
was
that's a sign that was a good thing that it ended then.
I think I watched Platoon.
Why not?
If my memory serves correct, I think I watched Platoon.
So apart from like music, your other big passion is wrestling, isn't it?
I love wrestling.
Absolutely. Have you like
Mhm.
never gone away from it? Have you always had the same?
I had a little bit. Well, I've had kind of like hiatuses in it, where I kind of stopped watching the big stuff like WWE, because it's mainly because I object to the creative side of it so much. I
Yeah,
think
I'm the same.
the stories become shit.
Did you have the same as me? Like when you were like, a kid, when you thought it was real,
Yes.
you watched it then,
Mhm.
and then when you get to about 13, 14, you start kind of stop watching it. And then I got to about in my 20s, I started watching it again.
Yeah.
Attitude Era, when it was like,
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, this is
The-
fucking good.
The big.
And then it's gone down again, so I've stopped watching it.
I suppose I always kept watching it.
You
what I
kind
mean?
of always
Yeah,
kind
there
of.
was never a moment where I stopped, because it was
Ah,
one of
okay.
these things I remember. Like, I used to go and spend a lot of time in Newcastle growing up. My great
Yeah.
aunt and uncle, I'd go and live there with my brother for most of the summer, about 8 weeks. We would go and live there, and it was great. It was fantastic. I had a lot of good memories there. But I would like help out with chores, and there's this neighbor called like Joe. He was like this angry sailor with tattoos everywhere, and I'd helped him do shit. I helped him like fucking clip his hedge, and it was WrestleMania 2000, Triple H,
Good
the,
one.
The Rock, Big Show, and Mick Foley in a fatal four-way, and whoever won it, one of the McMahons would take over the WWE. Whatever
Oh
it
yeah, I
was.
remember that. Yeah.
And I can remember hyping it to Big Joe, and I was like, "Oh man, like I really hope Mick Foley wins, because I want him to come back, like I really." He's like, "You do know it's fake, kid." I'm like, "What do you mean it's fake?" It's like they know who's gonna win before that. They're all friends, really. They all really get on. I'm like, "What? Triple H and The Rock?
It's like someone telling you Santa Claus is not real.
They're actually friends? Like, what? I thought they hate each other. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was I couldn't get. I kind of like I didn't believe it for a long time.
Yeah.
I was like, he's so full of shit. Like he can't be right. But then I saw this thing where it was like, it was on WWF Raw as well, where The Rock was slowly breaking away from wrestling, and he went to do a theater production on Broadway kind of thing, and they showed a little bit of that, and they showed him on the stage, but then they showed like Triple H and Big Show in the crowd like laughing at it and like having a good time.
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
he was fucking right. Joe was right. They are actually friends. You know what I mean? Like, and it was like,
It's
but,
your Santa Claus isn't real moment, isn't it?
it was a big fucking deal.
What's it
But I
called?
draw. What's it called now?
What's it called when? Is it kayfabe?
Kayfabe. That's
Was that when they
that's like
they
story.
break character?
No, kayfabe's when you play the part with 100% conviction.
Like if they did it in real life when you saw them, if they were still playing the character rather than
That'd
being
be
themselves.
kayfabe.
Yeah.
I mean, like the interesting thing with kayfabe is there's a fine line between what's real and what isn't.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like some people with wrestling, say like John Cena, who's a phenomenal wrestler. I believe he'll go down as the greatest of all time.
Mhm.
I really do. People,
Or
you
certainly
can-
one of them.
he will be, honestly, because people can say what they want about John Cena. There is nobody in the industry who has stuck to his guns.
Yeah, he's
like
been consistent. He's been
consistent. He never turned his back on the WWE. He never let the fans down, really. He's always been there for them.
true.
He's not like Hogan. He's not like The Rock. He's not like Stone Cold. He never turned his back on anybody.
Yeah.
And the thing is with someone like John Cena, John will play kayfabe when he's in the ring.
Yeah.
And he's in WWE. His character's very similar to how he is, so he doesn't have much of a job to do.
Yeah.
But then you get people like, do you remember Brian Pillman?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who
I do.
lived kayfabe. He became that character. You know,
Yeah.
Brian Pillman in the ring was the same as the guy, you know, walking the streets.
Yeah.
He'd go to NFL games and chain himself to the post to just make a point and,
Yeah.
you know, like shit like that.
Yeah.
And Terry Funk is
Yeah.
another guy like that. You know, lives. It's an art. Kayfabe is an art form.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
It's
it's
like it's a
it's
form
like-
of acting, really,
it's
isn't
method
it?
acting.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It's method
Well, I always
acting.
used to see it as back in the day, like especially in the Attitude Era in the late '90s, early 2000s, was like a really good soap opera.
It was a
Just really
violent.
good.
So-
Yeah.
I always say
Yeah.
this to people, like, well, why do you watch wrestling? Like, what is great about wrestling? It's like Coronation Street.
Well,
Apart
that's what I'm
from,
saying. If
you
someone
know,
says
like,
that to you, like,
yeah.
why do you watch a soap? It's the same reason.
it's like, yeah, it's like Corey, but Norris might get a chair wrapped over his head or something. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
man, that's
And like, as long as you know that, and you're not watching that, knowing all that, and you still enjoy it, then
yeah.
so be it. It's fine.
I don't think it's what it was. I
No,
don't think it's.
That's one of the
good.
reasons why I wasn't. It just got. They started recycling stories, and
Mhm.
when Raw went
Yeah.
3 hours, I
Mhm.
was like, it's just too
Too
much
much.
content.
It's too much.
And the only reason they've done that is for the commercial money, because it's got more. You get more commercials in 3 hours than you do 2.
I think a lot of it has to do with the whole Benoit thing. You know, Chris Benoit killing his family and you know killing himself, and then it all came out that his brain was the same consistency of a 90-year-old man due to concussions of the brain,
Yeah.
chair shots. And I think really since then they've tried to kind of clean their act up. They try to clean their act up with the steroids and stuff.
Yeah.
And it does affect the product
It does.
in the end, you know, because it's like you can't have really, and they're trying to appeal to kids now, you can't have like adult themes anymore of wrestling,
No.
really, you know what I mean?
Less of the sex references and like
Sure,
less of
right.
like baseball bats with barbed wire wrapped around them.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, in that Attitude Era, there was some really good shit, but there was some really cringeworthy stuff as well.
Of course.
Like when WCW were trying to like compete with that Attitude thing, and they
The
had
whole
the,
invasion thing.
do you remember WCW having the Viagra on a pole match?
No.
They had the winner was like, you would take Viagra and screw the other guy's mother or something. It was, and you watch this back, you're like, this is so
Oh my God.
embarrassing, man. Like, did we really like watch this? I mean, you're 11, it's like, it's hilarious, but then you watch it as an adult, you're like, this is so shit. Like, who was right? Vince
Yeah.
Russo was writing this kind of stuff.
They
you
say,
know?
they say that the moment it turned, when it was all WWE, was Mike Tyson.
Yeah, sure.
That moment when Mike Tyson was face to
When-
face with Stone Cold.
Tyson
Yeah.
appeared at was it WrestleMania?
It was Raw. It was Raw.
Was it Raw?
It was just a
Or
Raw.
was it WrestleMania happened later on?
I think it was right at the height of that battle
Mhm.
when WCW had been winning for weeks, and they got we've got to do
Mhm.
something. So it's like,
Yeah.
what they're gonna, how they're gonna beat this, and they didn't.
Yeah.
They never did. Because have you seen the documentary about it?
The Monday Night Wars.
Yeah.
I haven't. I know a lot about it, but
There's
I haven't
one
never watched the show.
That week when they finally won it,
Mhm.
they never looked back,
Yeah.
and WCW never recovered from it. And
I
disappeared.
remember reading the thing about Eric Bischoff, who was kind of like the
I
chief
like him.
promoter of. Yeah, he's a clever guy,
Yeah.
but he was the chief promoter of WCW and head of writing scripts and whatever.
Yeah.
And he said something like, he said about Tyson. He said, "I knew as soon as they had Tyson, we were in trouble."
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
thought we're gonna like lose tonight, and he was right. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
A lot of it's like from the Attitude Era. It was like the performances were just the storylines, and the performances of the people performing were just. It was just.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of similarities of that with music and like how you perform on stage.
Mhm.
Like people, you should
Oh,
seem
yeah.
like
Mhm.
you're not of this earth. That's kind of what people want to see. Like
Exactly.
I get with like
completely.
with social media now, people can know
Mhm.
everything about all their favorite
Yeah.
artists, can't they? So it's kind of like
Mhm.
it takes away that mystique. But
Of course,
you
man.
should still be able to go on stage
It's-
and just become someone completely different.
I took a lot from wrestling.
Yeah.
I would tell anybody that.
Yeah.
With my performance, how I conduct myself, it's all very natural now. I don't really know I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's just become part of what you do when you go on.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but it all goes back to the days of watching Brian Pillman,
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, the British Bulldog, Bret
Yeah.
Hart.
I started thinking about it
and,
more.
like seriously, do you know what I mean? Like Terry Funk.
Yeah.
When you see somebody with that intensity, you're like, oh my god, this is like it's real. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, it's the kind of
believe,
level of
like, this
level
is
of performance,
real, you know, like,
which is why kids would believe it was real. Like they could still see through it if you weren't that good. So if the kids believe it real, then that's part of it. And if the adults who know it's not real still think it's fucking awesome,
exactly.
then do you know what I mean?
Up until that point when I was a kid, it was the greatest thing I'd ever seen.
Exactly.
I remember the first thing I ever saw, it was Mick Foley as Mankind against Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. It's like
I
another
knew
planet.
I knew it, like, I'd seen like early, like the golden era of wrestling, like Hogan and Macho Man, which is cool, and I really enjoyed that. But then I was watching, and these guys were just beating the living fuck out of each other. I'm like, this is what I'm living for, man.
Yeah. But
I know my, you know, like what I want to be, and I want to.
But it's like now when you go to you see certain bands and they're fucking going for it. Do you know what I mean? And you're just like, whoa! It's just like you feel it, don't you? And I think that's what.
Who was the last band like you felt that with?
That's a good question. I can never think of these things off the top of my head. I'll message you tomorrow when I've thought of it.
Yeah.
Nah, there's been a few.
I quite like Black Cat Bones when I saw them.
I've never heard of them.
I kind of like Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
I thought they're pretty cool. The bass player looks like Phil Lynott so much.
Yeah.
Like from Thin Lizzy. It's like him. I turned around like, oh my god, he's not dead. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're a really cool band. You know, they're not different or anything. You know, it's kind of like maybe your run of the mill rock and roll.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I thought this is enjoyable. This is a good night out. You know, if you want to see somebody like that.
Annihilator was one. I thought Annihilator were pretty. Last time I saw them on it. There's been a few. Can't think. Limp Bizkit that time when I saw them.
Really? With a
fucking
raging
on it.
man.
Yeah.
Fucking raging.
Fred Durst just seemed pissed off.
Yeah.
And it was just good to watch.
Who's been the biggest disappointment live? Has there been anybody you were like, oh man, I was totally...
Guns N' Roses.
Really?
Mark II.
You mean like Axl and Friends or like Guns N' Roses?
Axl and Friends.
Ah, really?
Yeah, it's just... I can't remember where it was. It was
2010, 2011.
Earlier than that. It was when he first came back with the second version of Guns N' Roses. It's just... I don't know if part of it was just the fact that it wasn't Slash and them. Like,
I think so.
You just kind of go, it's
it can't
never
live up to that.
It just can't.
Childhood memory.
So maybe
you picture the five of them together, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like Pantera, man.
Yeah.
If they came back with that dime, I would love it, but man, it's like, it's about the four of them. They're really equal, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Kiss is like that as well, but it's different because they got Tommy Thayer and Phony Chris.
Kiss piss me off sometimes.
Really?
Did you see that thing where they made that interview guy take his shirt off?
Oh, the Iron Maiden.
He had an Iron Maiden t-shirt on, and they made him take it off and put a Kiss t-shirt on.
Do you know what I loved about that? Not much, really. But, where I'm going with that is, there was somebody trying to defend it, saying like, "Oh, this is why Kiss are as successful as they are." I just think it's a shitty move, man.
It's all PR stuff.
It's like, you know, like life is about variety, choice. You know, if everybody just like Kiss, we'd be in a pretty boring world. You know,
and if everyone liked the same kind of music and all that sort of stuff.
So you know, why can't the dude just wear his top and express himself?
It's almost like,
you know,
do you feel threatened when he's wearing an Iron Maiden t-shirt? I don't
think
get it.
So. Maiden are a fucking force to be reckoned with still, but music should be about music.
But I think for Kiss, it's just a PR stunt to get them in the press, and it worked. Everyone was talking about it.
Sure.
Because they're not doing much musically that anyone gives a shit about at the moment. They're just all they're living for is their Kiss merchandise, their legacy.
I gotta say, man, as much as I hate all that shit, I still love Kiss.
I get the whole. I like the whole. I do like Kiss, but I just that side of it. Like it seems to be where they're getting older. They're getting to this point where that's all they've got to rely on now.
Wasn't he selling like air guitars? Jason was selling like.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Something like came in a box with his face in it. Like people were buying the shit like $200.
Someone was saying they've got some ridiculously expensive limited edition reissue of something now. I can't remember what it is. Like, because when Master of Puppets one came out, that was quite expensive.
I wonder if it's like
the Kiss one was like ridiculous.
I wonder if it's that grunge album they never talk about. You know, they did a grunge album.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
It's okay. It's not too bad. It's just a bit weird hearing them singing about fucking, you know, like drugs and shit, which they never did.
Yeah. But imagine if Kiss came out now.
Would they be as successful?
Would they have the same impact? Because
I don't know. I really don't.
Because there'd never been a band before that did had with all the makeup and the image.
I think Kiss were in the right place at the right time. I think with Kiss they took a lot from bands like T-Rex, really.
Yeah, that has been mentioned.
The New York Dolls, stuff from the New York kind of glam scene, and I think they took glam rock, not glam metal, glam rock, and amped it up by 1,000 and made it dark.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anything really dark at that point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really, I mean, you
Yeah.
had Sabbath and stuff, you know what I mean? But nothing from the glam scene, maybe. And I think it was unique in that it was very alien, I think, to an audience. It's like,
Yeah.
well, it's glam rock, but it's like pretty fucking evil as well. And who are these people? And there's a guy who thinks he's the Starman, and there's the demon, and there's Ace Frehley who's a fucking drunk, you know? And, you know,
Yeah.
it's like...
But I also think, I suppose back then,
Mhm.
everything was new. Everything's been done for the first time. So,
Sure.
like,
Sure.
so it
It's
probably wouldn't
difficult.
work
You
as
can't
much
shock
now.
an audience now. You cannot shock an audience. That's the thing.
No. I think you've just got to be genuine now.
I wish you could.
Yeah.
I wish I could be like. I don't want to be like Ted Nugent, but I wish I could come out in a loincloth and people go, "Who is this maniac in a loincloth?" Now people would be like, "This guy's
Yeah.
a fucking loser. Like, who does he think he is?"
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I suppose, I mean,
Mhm.
is there which bands can you think of are on the way up now who you're sort of keeping an eye on? I mean, at our level, sort of like Massive Wagons and Bigfoot and Mason Hill, or you could like the Amorettes and, you know,
I think Sleep Token now.
right, yeah.
I think they're kind of like the next big thing.
Yeah.
Maybe Mason Hill.
Mm.
I can't see why not. The only thing which could fuck Mason Hill is the label, I think.
Who they with?
Are they with Frontier?
Oh, yeah. That's
Frontier,
It, yeah.
I don't
Same
know.
with Bigfoot.
The
Bigfoot
thing
are
is
as
with
well.
someone like Frontier, and it's the same with Bigfoot as well. I gotta say, I like both these bands. I'm not knocking them at all. I don't want to come across that I'm knocking them, because I do like both of them. I think
Yeah.
they're both talented bands. But if you look at any artist which is signed to someone like Frontier Records, Frontier whatever they are, they morph bands into what they want. They'll make them sound how they want.
So I don't know much about them. I don't know what their business
They're
model
a-
is.
From what I know about them, they're a very AOR orientated label. And I
Right.
could be completely wrong. Maybe I'm completely off the mark saying that they have influence over people's recordings, but I've heard a lot of recordings of bands who went with Frontier, and it didn't really sound like the band. It sounded like somebody else's impression or interpretation of a band, sounding more kind of AOR, toned down.
Yeah.
And that's my only concern with bands signing to them, like people like Mason Hill and Bigfoot.
Is that they'll try and change them.
Yeah, completely with the sound.
And if you do change them, that makes them...
It isolates your audience. You can
Yeah.
really jade your fans by doing that.
They'll not...
But it might not as well. It swings and roundabouts. Maybe I'm completely off the mark.
Maybe it'll
by
work.
It could work. It's crazy enough to work. You know what I mean?
Because that's how it used to be, with like record labels saying, you need to do this and you need to do
Sure,
this. Because of
It happened with a lot of thrash. Happened with fucking Celtic Frost, you know?
It was a lot simpler back then. They knew how things worked. But now it's such an open playing field with bands being able to do quite a lot
Exactly.
on their own
Of course, man.
and make a huge success where
Mm-hmm.
the record labels don't get involved until much later these days when the
Mhm.
band's done all the work themselves.
I
But it
don't
didn't-
think there'll be any bands which are like up to the level like Bon Jovi. I don't know how the industry could sustain and support a band like that now.
Once there is no Bon Jovi,
Sure, right?
yeah, how's that gonna...
Exactly.
What's the ecosystem gonna... How's it gonna
It'll be
trickle...
it'll
How's it
be-
gonna work up?
Unless they start doing something now, they're
'Cause-
gonna have nothing.
Because the main difference now is the money's not there.
No,
So that's partly why...
it's a hemorrhaging loss. I would tell anybody going into music that.
Yeah.
'cause right. I'm just gonna be to the point with this. When I was getting into music, when I started out 15, I had a load of people telling me a load of bullshit, really, saying, you're going to go out there, you're going to be rich, you're going to make it, you're going to do this, you're going to be able to sustain yourself. And you get out there, and it's very, very different to how people make it out to be. It's difficult. It's very hard to make a living from it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go out there and you want to, execute your passion and live your dream, go for it. But you have to be realistic about it, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying you got to have your dreams, but you got to be like, right, I have to be realistic about this as well. Do you know what I mean?
I think the perception is changing, though.
Oh, it's great. That's
I think-
changing.
I think-
but people just have to go out there and hammer it. you
I would
know?
hope that like younger, like say like 16, 17-year-olds now starting bands will know that it's quite hard.
Oh, yeah, of
therefore,
course.
Therefore, their reasons for doing it would be a bit more realistic, as in they just love doing it, so
Exactly.
they don't care that they're not going to make any
Yeah.
money. And I think that's
Mhm.
changing. I think that's the way it's going,
Yeah.
which is good,
Mhm.
because we're here to tell them
Yeah, right, sure.
that it sucks if you,
do
don't.
it as you love. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you should always do what you love in life,
But it's like
regardless for the prize or not.
I think us and other people are like examples of doing it the right way and doing it for the right reasons. Like there's a lot involved in it. You almost have to have the business head when you start it, even though it doesn't probably you wouldn't think that you would, but if you're good and you get to a certain level, that's going to come into it because you've got to make money somehow. Or you've got to try and make money, or you've got to stop the hemorrhaging of money.
Right. Say if you, this is completely hypothetical, this situation, but say if you quote unquote made it and you got a lot of money, like they just showed up at your house with like a truck full of money. It's like, this is yours.
Yeah.
You like sold all these records and, you know, fucking enjoy the fruits of your labor.
You got big in Japan, here's all this money.
Sure, right? It's like, they love you over there, here's this money.
Yeah.
What would you do with the money? Like, just extravagance, like, what are you going to do?
I'd probably, well, now I'd probably be a bit more sensible. If it was like when I was 18, I probably would have blown it all. But I've learned, I suppose, if you're asking now, I probably would have invested it, save it.
I know what I would have done, man. I would have made a big fucking pool, an indoor pool, and I would have drove a Hummer into it with Remix to Ignition by R. Kelly playing, and just leave it at the bottom of the pool to Remix to Ignition playing. I was just like,
That's a way
that
better
is
answer than
like,
mine.
man, like, you know,
You win.
Kanye, eat your fucking heart out, man, you know. That's how you do it with fucking money.
Well, the thing I was going to mention is, have you heard of this new trend about in venues, bands make people put their phones in a bag and put it away?
Yeah,
What
I've
do
heard
you-
it. I've heard.
What
I
do you
saw the
think?
videos years ago of like Jeff Tate from he's in Queensryche. Then he's obviously doing his own thing now, where he would grab some dude's phone, pretend to take a picture, and just whoop, throw it away, throw it into the crowd. It's like that's a guy's phone. He's like worked like a fucking month for that. You know?
Yeah, but now there's an actual company that the promoters are hiring. So when everyone comes in, they give you a bag, and you've got to put your phone in your bag, and it goes away.
Good question. I'm very much on the fence about this.
Yeah.
I'm liberal, you know, I'm centre left really. So I believe in freedom of speech. I think people should be able to record if they want to. I think if somebody wants to sit behind a screen on their phone and watch it through a screen of their phone, sure, whatever. I know I wouldn't do that. I want to live in the moment, you know. And I'm not saying that you're not if you do that, but it's not my idea of enjoying a show.
I
But I
agree.
think people should be allowed to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I do find it really kind of puzzling, but that's just from my perspective. And then I think in other people's shoes, I'm like, oh, well, I can understand. But, like,
Yeah.
I'll give you an example, though. Like, years ago, like, this was years ago, I went to, like, Donington to, like, one of the first downloads. And this was before camera phones and stuff. And I went with a load of disposable cameras, and I took my photos. And I wanted to save that moment, you know what I mean, for myself on these. And it was like Rob Halford, and he was like a spec. He was like one of them, you know, one of them nerd suites, the nerds. He was like a nerd, man. And there's KK down. He's like a little yellow nerd, you know. And it was cool, but as phones came in and stuff like that, I found that there's fucking no point taking photos yourself because every other fuck has. Like, I go like on Instagram and I type in whatever, you know, like I was at Danzig, Manchester, 08, 09, and they're there, you know what I mean, on the internet. There is no reason for anybody to take photos, really, unless you really want to, because someone else has already done it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's weird, the difference of people who are prepared to watch a concert that they're at behind a lens.
My dad does that. My dad's like the most annoying person to people. Like,
Doesn't take his like iPad.
Yes, you've seen him. He's that guy. He's Randy Marsh, man.
Oh god.
Randy Marsh from South. I fucking love him, but man, Randy
iPhone's
Marsh.
one thing, but there's iPads. Some of those iPads are huge.
So seriously, right? The Sun Explodes, one of the first shows of Alex, right, when he was doing the half, whatever face.
Oh
mask,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
My dad goes to the front of the stage with this fucking iPad. And there's people like looking at him like, is this guy like for real? And I'm just like, this is like the raddest thing ever, because it's like kind of like punk rock. And I don't know, is it punk? I don't know. But he was just pissing so many people off. I really got a rise out of it for that. I'm like, he's really angering people doing this, you know what I mean? But it's not something I would want to do.
No,
Do you
me
know what I
neither.
mean?
I agree.
You know, but you know, you get worse things, right? You get people who start fights at shows, and
Yeah.
you know, like
One of my
physical
first
shit like
thoughts
that.
was, what happens if the whole point of mobile phones is what if there's an emergency? Someone needs to get hold of someone, and they haven't got the phone.
Yeah,
What if someone?
of course. It's ridiculous, you know. Exactly.
So the artist, well, whether it's the artist's choice or not, the artist's dictating that they can't do that. They can't, you
And
know.
another thing is with a lot of these big bands, they should see it as publicity.
Well, it is all publicity, but how
publicity.
annoying is it if someone's got their camera phones out?
I don't know.
It's never bothered
I
me.
don't know. Was it Jack White from the White Stripes. He's got a policy at his shows where it's the same as that. He's implemented it.
It's
saying
becoming
like
more and more popular
so
now.
if you've got your phone on, you can just get the fuck out. Like, fuck your ticket, fuck the money you've gave me.
Maybe I suppose it'll
Yeah.
weed out the people. You'll get more people going to the shows who are fine with that,
Yeah.
and then the people who are won't go. I suppose
I don't know. I just think it's kind of like it's forcing people to do something.
it is a bit. Yeah,
Music's
it is a bit.
about freedom of
Yeah.
speech and expression.
It's a bit
It's
of a
like it's
dictatorship.
becoming very much like the Third Reich of music, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think people should just do what they want at shows, you know.
yeah. Well, before we wrap it up, there's one thing that I want to end on. The other day, I was driving, and it came to a. This comes back to the whole life is short. Just do what you got to do. This crossing, and there was this old man holding up all the traffic crossing the road, and he was like, had a Zimmer frame, and he was going like, it was really slow. And there's this guy in front of me, just losing his shit, shouting at this guy like, "It's an old man. Just let him cross the fucking road." And I'm just there thinking, that's us one day. So
exactly.
why? I just didn't. This guy was losing it in front of me.
It's impatience, man.
And there's like, because it was like three way, so there's another lane of traffic over there. And this other person was just like me. He's just like, yeah,
Do you
on
know
you
what
go,
a
take
lot
your
of it, I
time.
think, comes down to? It's this on-demand culture we live in now, where everything is at a click of a button.
Yeah.
Everything you can, everything you want to do.
Yeah, everything's 100 miles an
It's
hour.
like you want
No one's got any time for anything or anyone.
Exactly.
I was just like, I was just sat there going, off you go, go on, mate, just take as much time as you want. I'm all right.
It's like going back.
I feel I'm young, I'm happy. Just I don't mind.
Right, sure.
One day that's going to be me.
I'm with you, but again, it goes back to that whole blockbuster thing. Where as a kid now, they go on Netflix, press a button, and bloody
Boom.
Terminator 3's up.
Yeah.
There was a day when you had to, I got to get in my car, I got to go drive through fucking rush hour traffic, get in the fucking car park, get out the car, go into the shop, choose the film, buy some snacks, whatever.
Yeah, the whole ritual.
An
There was a
argument.
ritual to it, wasn't it?
Exactly, have an argument with the guy behind the till that he doesn't have the film in, although there's 100 copies in the fucking
Yeah.
wall. But times change.
It does.
Times change, and you can either move with them or become a dinosaur like me.
Exactly, but that's I'll say a lot of people like that where like they're always like aggressive or in a hurry, even though they're probably
Do you
not
think
in a
it'll
hurry.
change? Do you think it'll ever go back, or has it just went too far forward now for anything to
It
go?
could do. It depends. It depends how technology goes because we're getting so lazy with things. Everything's just getting invented to make things easier that weren't that difficult in the first place. Like, I just boggles me sometimes. This new invention that makes this easier, like it wasn't even hard in the first place. So why have you invented?
Exactly.
It's
Right,
like-
exactly.
Like
You know what I
turning
mean?
your oven on from 10 feet away.
Yeah,
Right. Can you imagine being old though? Like it's such a weird thought.
it's hard to imagine.
Yeah, it's like I just think I'm gonna end up like that guy from fucking Gran Torino. Have you ever seen that film? Like
Oh,
the
yeah,
angry,
yeah,
bitter
yeah,
old man
yeah.
Clint Eastwood. I'm just gonna hate everything and
I think
be,
we
like,
do think about
polishing
it.
my car like fucking every day, just chewing dip on the porch, spitting out, going, I hate everybody.
But I think it's a natural progression. Like we're at the age now where we do think about things like that. When you're younger, you don't. You don't give a shit about anything. You just think.
I think we're a very, you and I, and of course yourself, we're a very unique generation because
That's
we come
true.
from the tail end of Generation X.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
are the final wave of Generation X and everything that it stood for. And we're in a very we live through massive transitions politically.
Yeah, like the
things in
internet,
the
music.
internet.
That's the biggest. I think that's the biggest
know,
thing. You think of the
um,
generation now, the internet's
Millennial-
always been there.
Man, I like some of the things millennials do.
But
I don't get it. It's like the I don't know. It's like sometimes it doesn't seem like they have fun.
I'm confused about this millennials thing because I think I'm a millennial because I was 19 at the year 2000.
Technically, you'll be classed as millennial,
Because someone who was coming of age at the turn of the century.
but I don't consider myself that.
So
I
that'd be
see
like
my
18,
family
19?
was, they're all Generation X baby boomers, and stuff like that.
Because you're a bit. How old are you in 2000?
I would be 9, maybe.
Okay, right.
Be
okay.
9. But I don't like the thing of these kids. Like when I was like fucking 15, young down the skate park, you got drunk and smoked weed and hung with your friends and had a good time. Now they're fucking arguing over Facebook and they're eating fucking soap. They're eating laundry detergent. I'm like, what the fuck happened, man?
Oh, there's this new craze.
We were all having sex with each other and you're eating fucking detergent. Like, who? Like,
they don't have-
do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
fucking,
you
what
don't
are they
know
called?
half of it.
Riptide pods or something? Like the.
Yeah, just starting in Australia or something. Did that not?
Yeah,
Or
it's
the
like,
US. I think it was
could
the
you
US
be
thing.
any more stupid?
I don't know. It just
Like,
goes too far.
do you know what I mean? Like, are you cool for doing that? Remember if you had a fag in your mouth at one point, you were cool. Not eating fucking detergent, like, man, like,
But the new thing is the reaction videos.
of people doing it.
Like, so you've seen this, haven't you? Like this new thing
Mhm.
of like we watch people react to watching things.
Mm-hmm.
Goes back to like playing The Sims.
Really, yeah.
Like
Mhm.
the people make these millions of subscribers and millions of viewers of
Mhm.
all they put up is them. Like there's these two black dudes, I can't remember what they're called
Mhm.
in America. They're like obviously they're just hip hop. That's all they listen to.
Mhm.
But they filmed themselves watching metal videos.
Yeah.
So they'll listen to like Slayer or Metallica, and it's the whole video is just them going, "Whoa, did you see that? Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Like, but like these are getting millions and millions of views,
Exactly.
and they're to the point
Mm.
where they're making money just from watching videos.
Mhm. That's the thing. As a culture, we're very fixated in what other people do now.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
they're the
Like
ones
what they-
gaming, streaming, Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
People, millions of people.
Is it
Yeah,
Gogglebox or whatever they
there's
call
people
it? Like,
make money, lots of money from playing a video game and having a camera.
isn't
So
that
you're
like
watching them
it's
watch
so-
playing video games.
It's like really warped though, isn't it? In a sense, it's like I always like football was always like the big one for me. It's like there's a dude getting paid more than what a guy earns in his lifetime in a week for kicking a fucking
I know,
ball around. You know,
I know.
it's like
That's a fairly
what
recent
kind of
thing.
world are we living in? But then you're saying about this whole Twitch thing and people living in playing games and stuff, and they're getting that kind of money
And
as
they're
well.
making a living from it.
Yeah, it's
well.
mad.
Or
You gotta
you-
love PewDiePie though. I will put it out.
Yeah, I
for
was gonna say
PewDiePie,
these
you know,
these YouTubers, like that's the phenomenon. That's a modern young people's phenomenon these days, isn't it? Like it
They're
was
like
only
the-
literally in these last 12 months that I've even known that was a thing.
the
Like these people get
celebrities.
mentioned, like someone younger will mention someone. I've
Yeah.
got no idea
It's
who that is.
Like there's that old saying, like in the 70s, like old people like fought in the war. They would be like, our heroes carried an M16 or whatever, a rifle. Your hero carries a guitar. Nowadays, millennials, you carry a fucking keyboard, man.
Yeah.
You eat fucking detergent.
You sit behind a
You
camera.
know, like,
You sit behind a camera.
yeah.
Like people who are.
Mhm.
We've got the reality TV though, haven't we? That's one of our
They'll
things. People who are
start
famous
big-
for fuck all.
Well, I'll start Big Brother, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you think about it.
People are just designed. They
Mm.
get brought up with that in mind. To
Did
just
you ever
go
go
and
on
be
anything
famous.
like that?
I did apply for it once.
No shit.
I think it was.
Did you get close? Did they
I
go?
did,
"Do you
I
know,
did.
We actually want you on this.
Yeah,
like,
I did these audition things. It was when I was going to go traveling.
And this was the Big Brother.
Yeah.
This is
back
really
in like
interesting.
I think it was like the second or the third one.
Wow.
It was like I applied for that and I'm going to go traveling.
Yeah.
One if I don't get on that, I'm going traveling. I ended
Right.
up going traveling because that took
Do
too
you
long.
imagine if
innit?
you got on it now?
I know. I think about that. I'm probably glad that I didn't.
You'd be like
in
a
the end.
burnout C-list celebrity. You'd
Well,
be
the
like,
thing is, back then it was a whole new thing. Like the
Sure,
first
right.
the first couple were really good because the people who were on
cutting
it
edge.
didn't know what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
They just thought it was a cool experiment.
Yeah.
And it was great. But then people started cotton on, and they just wanted their 15 minutes of fame. It became a whole different thing. So there's only the first,
Two seat was
Two,
like a
maybe
social,
three,
social
where it was a social experiment,
experiment.
and it was a more of an organic experience where you're watching these people just react. Whereas 4, 5, and 6, people are just like,
just
that's when it all
became
started.
About controversy, didn't it?
Well, then that's when reality TV became the word reality TV became the most fake thing you will ever watch. It's not.
Exactly.
It's like the opposite of reality. Yeah, it's still called reality
Towie
TV.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Towie, you know, like
Yeah, there was. I don't know what the first one was. It was an American. It started in America, where it was like
it was
half real, half like.
Oh God, was it not
I can't remember what it was
Thingy
called.
Shaw? Bloody
No,
hell.
it wasn't Jaws. It was before that.
It was.
There was some.
It wasn't like
I don't-
9120.
No. It was like Towie, where it was
I know,
like.
I remember seeing it. I remember because I went around some.
It was in
friend's
like
house
California, where there's like. I still don't get it. I don't get how these. How can it be half real and half fake?
Yeah.
I don't.
Because I think it's kind of like they tell you to like do this and improv. You know what I mean? And try
Yeah.
and involve your own life in it in some way and be interesting.
But that was for me. After that, I was like.
But I
no.
think cutting to the chase again, just firing from the hip. I think it's setting such a terrible example to kids growing up
is.
these days, millennials, because
What kind of aspiration is that?
it's that, but it's also giving kids this thing, like when they go into relationships and they have this notion that your ex is more important than the person you're with now.
Yeah.
And you get that a lot now, like women and men too, who are fixated with this notion of their ex, and it's like they're just like completely cuckoo bananas
Yeah.
over someone who's in their past who you really shouldn't be giving a shit about because they fucking stepped on you and made you feel like fucking shit about yourself.
Yeah.
And I see this all. I had a talk with Alex about this recently, and I see this all the time now, and I really fear for youngsters growing up now, and I just hope that they learn sooner rather than later that there is more to life than Amy Childs on TV and
Or how many likes you get, or how many retweets you get, or how many
Exactly.
shares. That's not
exactly.
what it's about.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and there's another thing as well, right? In life and in media, coming from the late 70s, 80s, 90s, as people in the media, we are taught unless you make it, unless you are rich and you make it, and you've got every luxury in the world, you're a loser.
You're a
of thing.
failure.
You're a failure. And when I was young, when I was 14, you grow up in that machine and you really feel like, okay, that's it, that's just life. But to me, I think I measure like wealth and happiness and stuff like that. And I think if you've got a house, you've got a car, you've got some kids, you hold down a job, you're doing
If
pretty.
that's what you want.
Yeah, you're doing pretty well for yourself,
Yeah.
really. Do you know what I mean? You're doing really well.
I think
Because you go somewhere like Africa and there's still some dude in a mud hut,
Yeah.
you know, and he's drinking
drinking shitty water,
shitty water and he's got dysentery and he's fucking dying.
and that's
know?
his life.
Exactly. And we still have it pretty good here,
We do.
you know.
We do.
I think we need to kind of, with youngsters especially, bring it down back to earth, you know what I mean? That it's good to aspire to be nurses and scientists and police officers, firemen, firewomen, rather than some brainless idiot on TV who spouts fucking verbal cancer to everybody.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
exactly,
mean? It's
yeah.
like, you know, I hope we see that eventually.
I do.
I don't know if we will.
The
But
bubble may burst on all that. I think life is
Mhm.
measured on not on your success is not in finances, it's on
Mhm.
happiness.
Yeah,
If you end up being happy,
of course.
then that's
course.
what else do you need to be?
Yeah.
Money doesn't necessarily. You
Mhm.
can have all the money in the world, but you can still be
Yeah.
miserable as fuck.
Where do you see yourself in 30 years' time? You're going to be happy, but what are you doing in 30 years' time which makes you happy?
Hopefully, this.
Hopefully this.
I could sit and do this forever.
Really.
I loved
We've
talking to, and if this gets, I just hope it like introduces me to new people that I've never met
Mhm.
before.
Get you out there and stuff.
Just constantly having awesome conversations like this one.
Thank you, man. Thanks. It's
With
been
just,
fun.
I just want to meet interesting people and have really down to earth conversations and go deep on loads of subjects and maybe have people on who are knowledgeable about something I know nothing about. I'd like to do
Yeah.
that
Like,
and
do
just
interesting
broaden my
things.
horizons because
Yeah.
I think
Travel.
the art of conversation has just been lost
Travel.
with and
Mhm.
part of what we're saying about reality TV,
Mm-hmm.
none of that's real. None of the conversations are real. I don't
Mhm.
think. I think life has kind of got in the way of real conversation.
Regurgitation.
Part of like doing this. How often do you do this with anyone?
Never. I said this to Rachel before. I am looking forward to this because I get to conversate and use my brain rather than just everyday
And
talk.
there's no, you're not relying on
Like-
technology, and there's no distractions.
When exactly like your job, whatever. You drive, don't you? Like
Yeah.
a driver, like
Yeah.
me, right? When I drive the bus, I get the same questions. The weather. It's okay today. It's always about the weather. You know what I mean? I just want to talk about fucking Donald Trump. I want to talk about fucking
It's never going to happen, is it?
the fucking Apollo moon missions and shit. And it's like you never get a chance. You know what I mean?
But even if you did, there would be for a fraction of the time.
Exactly.
You never get to go deep on
You
anything.
know what I mean?
And apart from this, like some of my friends, I suppose we do meet up and talk,
Mhm.
but never get a chance to do this. And I think it's
Exactly.
like very important. And I think
just
it's
really
been
nice.
being lost, especially like
Yeah.
we're talking about millennials and that.
Mhm.
Are they ever going to do this? Are they ever going to?
Probably not.
'Cause
They're all going to be fat vegging couch potatoes, which do fucking nothing. you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly.
It'll be like that film. What was it called? Wall-E. You know, when they'll just like sit in armchairs and like.
Yeah, and they could even they could even they could even become
Hey, fucking
YouTubers.
John Candy, man.
They could even
And I
become
love John Candy, by the
YouTubers
way.
themselves and make loads of money, but they'll still be
Yeah.
miserable as fuck.
Yeah. Or maybe there'll be a nuclear war and it'll be like Fallout.
That's,
They can all
that's
eat dog food. And,
the way things are going. That's quite possible, isn't
you
it?
know, with Donald Trump in charge.
Oh, that was the other thing we spoke about.
Did we?
We said because that was before then.
What was it about the?
We were talking about what do you think it would be like if he was in charge?
All
Or
right, yeah.
I listened to it. I said I didn't think I could see it happening,
Right.
and you said it could happen. You know, and it did
Right.
happen.
I thought it would. He had too much of a charisma, and he had that lovely charm, which, you know, goes a long way in America. Like Ted Bundy, like the guy who
Yeah,
killed
yeah.
all them women. You know,
Yep.
there was people while he was getting sentenced. He definitely didn't do it. Killed him. with a shoehorn, but God, we love Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Went down, people still adamant he didn't fucking kill anybody.
I think Trump, what Trump did was very, like, specifically on purpose to reach the people who don't normally vote, like those, especially in the South.
Yeah.
Because he just talked about immigration and all the stuff that, that gets them people, like, he was just saying the right things, basically, and it made a lot of people vote who wouldn't normally vote, and that's what, in the end, that's what swayed it.
And I think partially as well as he had that American of don't tread on me, and that gung-ho attitude of I will do what I want, whether you like it or not. I think a lot of Americans go, God, that's somebody we need.
It's different.
In power.
It's not the same.
It's that American
cookie cutter politician who's just going to say the same things and not answer any questions, and just, they're bored of that. They saw him as an alternative. Yeah. So I think a lot of people were just like, fuck it, I'll take a chance.
Exactly. And I think his competition was fucking weak as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely with Hillary Clinton.
That was Hillary and that was it.
Somebody
basically.
who opposed the civil rights movement back in the 60s,
Yeah.
I think, Bernie Sanders was the guy for the job.
Yeah.
For them,
Could have been.
For the Democrats, And also he's a Black Flag fan. It's cool seeing this ancient politician even in the 80s and his 60s at a Black Flag show, like, fucking rise above, man! You gotta fucking love someone who likes Black Flag, especially a politician.
The last thing I thought we talked about last time was the Misfits reunion.
Ah, yeah.
Because it had just been announced when you were here last time.
Mm-hmm.
And what did we say? We were saying about how did we think they were going to get
Whether
on.
they would get on well or not.
And have you kept up on any of it?
I don't think much has been said about it, actually.
Which means that it went all right. Because if it hadn't gone all right, you would have heard about it.
Yeah, I think mutually.
They're still doing it now,
There'll
though.
be a business agreement. I don't know how well they'll particularly. I think they'll get on eye to eye, okay, but they'll have. I know they've got very big differences of opinion, on a lot of things. Religion, primarily, one's. Jerry Only's a big Christian.
Yep.
Danzig, well, he isn't at all. Do you know what I mean? He's an atheist, and he likes stuff in the occult. I'm not saying he's satanic.
He likes to write songs about that stuff.
Yeah, of course. You know what I mean.
But it seems to have gone off all right. I've seen some clips, and it's pretty good.
Oh, that'd be fucking cool.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that. I'd give my left arm to fucking do that, man. I'd do a Def Leppard to go and see that shit, man. I fucking love Def Leppard, by the way. But I think it's the same with Guns N' Roses. Like, when I saw like Slash and Axl together, they didn't particularly look like they got on like a house on fire. I mean, maybe they do. Maybe that's just a perception that I had. But I think it would be more kind of like a business thing of let's do this for the fans.
A lot of bands do that. It's either for the fans or they're just for to make some money.
I don't know why people just can't fucking get on. Why, why?
It's just
why not?
personality clashes, though, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's just sometimes. Like it works, sometimes it doesn't work.
You know
sometimes it can be worked out, sometimes it can't.
Do you know which band I'm like completely fixated with right now? X Japan.
I've never heard of them.
God, man, I fucking love X Japan. It's like Japanese Motley Crue, like crossed with Metallica, and then they do ballads like Guns N' Roses, and they're just fucking incredible, man. Amazing musicians. Have you heard of X Japan before?
I think
Holy fuck, man, they've just changed the game for me. Like,
wow.
Serious, because as you can tell, I'm not Japanese. So
really?
Yes. I am not from Tokyo.
Could have told me.
So when I watch X Japan, I have no idea what the fuck are they talking about, right?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about them. They have this big kooky hair, like, woo, it's everywhere. And like, it's so mystifying to me. It's like when you first fall in love with heavy metal and everything's mysterious.
Yeah.
When I'd heard of X Japan, it's only recently I'm starting to listen to X Japan. It's just it's made me feel like everything's new again when I watch them because it's mysterious, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not like you can get the shit easy as well. You can't buy it that easily in shops, you know what I mean? I don't download it, so I'm trying to buy it.
But it's on Spotify.
Yeah. I will not, like, cave in. But that's my goal for this year, or maybe next year on the tour. I will see X Japan.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna look them up on your recommendation.
Tell you to listen to them.
Yeah. Cool.
The Blue Blood album is cool. It's like thrash, but it's just like really, out there, with its structures and whatever.
Sounds good. Mm-hmm. Oh man, thank you for coming down again. It's been a fucking pleasure.
I'd love to do it again at some
We'll
point.
definitely do it again sometime. When the new band's got something to promote, we'll have you
on. Of course, man. Cool.
I love rambling from one subject to another, and
I know
it's brilliant.
I love it, man, because like I said when I came on, it's you don't get opportunities like this in life much anymore, in day-to-day life, because everybody's too busy.
on their
this
phone.
thing, you know,
Yeah.
like fucking texting whoever. or
Taking
messaging,
over, isn't it? It's taking
saying,
over.
What you doing? I'm having a shit. You know, it's like, let's get back down to like fucking basics and talk about real subjects. You know?
Exactly. Because life is short.
Life is short. Exactly, man.
Oh, well, thank you very much, man.
See you later.
Cheers. Thank you.
Take it easy, man.